The latest Hogwarts Legacy release date news is not good news for a lot of people who may have already pre-ordered the game. The Hogwarts Legacy release date was already in doubt for the Nintendo Switch, not really sure when it was going to land. But for many people, the hope was they'd be diving into a Harry Potter video game in February of 2023. Now, about, I don't know, maybe half of the people that pre-ordered, half of the people that were looking forward to this are going to have to wait a little bit longer. If you pre-ordered this game, we are not sure if they're going to be doing anything to rectify this or to give you something, but they are giving you a new release date if you pre-ordered this for the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. And we do finally know the Hogwarts Legacy Nintendo Switch release date as well. So they took to Twitter to do this. We are going to be looking at the brand new Hogwarts Legacy gameplay showcase later today in a separate stream, but I wanted to cover this as its own topic. This has to do with what's going on with next gen. Are we finally leaving next gen behind? Old gen behind? Are we dealing with issues with optimization? Is the game's performance going to struggle? It really is hard to know what exactly is going on with this game. Did they try to start baking things into it after production or mid-production that suddenly caused these issues? So the actual release date for Hogwarts Legacy, for those of us who have a PS5, Series S, or Series X, will still be February the 10th of 2023. But the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One versions will be releasing on April the 4th of 2023. So a 2-month bump on that release date. That's not when many people who already pre-ordered collector's editions were hoping to jump in the game. We even have a community member that wanted the collector's edition so bad. She's a really big Harry Potter fan. The ones ran out on next gen, so she thought, well, I'll buy the old gen just so I can get the cool collector's stuff, and then I'll upgrade later. Well, now what she's supposed to do, she's basically got a 2-month waiting period, and they're also removing early access. Everybody who pre-ordered this game actually has the ability to get in a few days early. And what that means is that you can't even take advantage of that pre-order incentive any longer. Many people were looking forward to jumping into this game as soon as they possibly could because it's a very, very popular title. Many people think this is going to be sort of the quintessential Harry Potter game. Up to now, most of the Harry Potter games that you could play were probably the Lego games, I guess. So this is the title that many people were looking forward to, and I was trying to kind of show you, they've been putting out these little cool, relaxing videos, just sort of combing through the game. Now, the Nintendo Switch is launching even later. The Nintendo Switch is landing in July 25th of 2023. That's practically at the end of the summer. You're almost in August at that point, which again, at least the people on the Nintendo Switch were not given the opportunity to pre-order this game. They were told, hey, your release date's coming at a later time. So nobody was expecting the Nintendo Switch to actually launch in February. We were all sort of anticipating that one landing a little bit later. Some were saying this really isn't a delay. They're like, hey, it's not really a delay. It actually is a delay. I'm pulling this from TheVerge.com. They said the partial delay is the game's third. It was announced in September 2020, set to be released the next year, but it wasn't long before the team behind it announced that it would be coming out in 2022 instead. So it was supposed to come out in 2021, then 2022. Then they said they needed to give it the time that it needs. Second time they delayed it was when they finally came out and said, listen, it's not going to make it holiday. Everybody was saying holiday, Christmas time would be a perfect time for the Hogwarts Legacy release date, and then they bumped it to February the 10th. And at that time they said, we will announce the Nintendo Switch release date at another time. And then they came out right before their second big gameplay showcase and said, actually, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are getting a delay. They're getting bumped 2 months to April. Many people are obviously irritated about this, especially those who may have pre-ordered thinking, hey, I'm going to pre-order so I can get in early. The 72-hour early access perk now only applies to PS5 and the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. So if you pre-ordered it for PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, I don't know if they're going to do anything for you about that. Or if you're in the situation with like our community member is, and you got the collector's edition just because you wanted the cool stuff, thinking I'll upgrade at a later date, you're now looking at a 2-month waiting period before you can even play the game that you might have assumed you were going to be playing in early February. I'm going to be discussing this with a live audience, so if you watch this show open and you enjoyed it, my content is a little bit longer. Hit subscribe, hit the bell button. That way you don't miss out on these live streams. And there's links below if you're ever interested in the shirt I'm wearing or the glasses I'm wearing. Those links are below, as well as a button to become a member to get into the exclusive members-only content that we do on a regular basis. Those of you that are in the live audience, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is not the news that Hogwarts wanted to have to trot out right before they show more gameplay. You know, multiple delays already is something that I think many people were a little annoyed by, but at the same time, it's Harry Potter. So I think people were like, hey, I'm willing to wait for a great game. TJ Rage, thank you for a 4-month milestone. Expecto Deladium, thank you very much. Paul renewed his membership during sort of the intro when you all were waiting for me to start. We did bump today's start time a little bit. Usually I'm starting, 9:10, 9:15. We've been trying to be better about that, but we bumped this one a little bit so we wouldn't go too long before the gameplay showcase. So the gameplay showcase is at noon. Let me turn on that member goal. You guys crushed it yesterday, and as a reminder, every 25, I gift 5 to you guys as a thank you, so I pay that forward if you guys want to get that started this morning. Further indications that last gen is becoming the unwanted stepchild of gaming development. Yeah, I mean, I think this lends credence to some of the things that we've been talking about. I don't know why did it pop up that Hervé just became a member? Hervé, are you here? I didn't see it in chat. That's weird. Welcome back, Hervé. I feel bad for the peeps who can't wait to play, but even the best games these days are always much better a day or a week or a month later after patching, so honestly letting a few others go first is better. Yeah, but see, the problem with that is, I don't think your mentality is wrong, I just don't think it applies this time, and I'll give you why. They are basically going to be launching 2 versions of this game. So any optimization patches or bug fixes that they roll out in between February and April will likely not affect the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4 versions. They're going to be different versions of the game. A Creature says it's a sales tactic. I don't know what you guys think about this. There are people that think, at least this was something that Creature threw out there when we were sort of brainstorming this show. He said, well, Sony and Hogwarts are working close together. What if Sony said, hey, we want to stagger this so we can get more people on the PlayStation 5. We are about to really ramp up PlayStation 5 distribution. Do you see what I'm saying? Yo, Dylan coming in with a 10-month milestone on a Member Plus. Hope all's well. Lono, thanks for the amazing content every day. Thank you to everybody who is a member. I gave you guys a sneak peek. I gave Member Plus and VIP people a behind-the-scenes video. So if you upgrade to the higher tiers, you get some behind-the-scenes stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you didn't see that, you can check that out later. It's a dumb idea. I highly doubt they did that. I don't agree with what Creature's saying. I don't think Sony said, hey, we really want to move some consoles. Let's stagger this release date and put a bunch of emphasis on the next-gen versions. I just don't think so. I think that would be real. I feel like Hogwarts would say no to that. I don't think Sony said it. I think Sony and Microsoft said it. Time to move on. I don't think so. I really, really don't think so. That would be so bizarre. By the way, I don't sell Sour Patches. My wife bought those for the people. If you get a box, if you get like 4 bags of the coffee or higher, she'll put one of those in the box for you. There's naughty and nice Sour Patches. I don't know if you guys have seen those. Like one's coal and the other's just like the normal Sour Patch. So the naughty and the nice. There you go. Really enjoyed the behind the scene vid. Thank you, Matasbo. They only got marketing, not full control. Yeah, I don't think that Microsoft and Sony are that interested in moving their consoles, that they're like, let's take one of the biggest potential releases of the year and let's stagger it and have bad PR, right? Lono brand Sour Patch, that would be pretty cool. Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. I know the Wizarding World's a big deal, but I don't think it's a console seller. I don't know. It's definitely not going to pull like Call of Duty pulls, but I do think it has the potential to be a pretty big game. Like this thing could set some records. Yo, good morning, Hex. I think they got this delayed to last gen. They got the last gen delayed because they didn't want another Cyberpunk with last gen consoles. So you think, Jaggy, and I actually think this is probably a pretty good explanation. They probably are struggling to get this thing to run well on old gen, and they didn't want that to be the headlines. They want the headlines. They want the reviews. They want the first looks and the first impressions. They want Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay getting nothing but praise. And if it's got a Cyberpunk launch where old gen's running like crap, that would sully and sidetrack all of the praise. A 4-month milestone for Mark a Word. Let's go, Elden Ring Game of the Year. Yes, that was really fun covering the Game Awards. Our Game Awards past broadcast is available again. It got a weird claim that I fought, and we now have the video back up and running. I'm still going through and muting certain parts so that it can be a monetized vid. It just takes a really long time, so that's no longer blocked. And if you missed our gameplay of High on Life yesterday, you can check that out. It's not safe for work, but if you want to see if the game's any good, the day one patch did seem to fix the frame issues. I didn't have any. I believe you're spot on. They want good reviews out of the gate. I feel like Jaggy's theory is the better theory out of all the ones I've considered myself, all the ones that I've looked at. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, look at this game. Look at the places you're going to be able to go, the graphics, the size, the scope. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look like a mind-blowing game. It doesn't look like a game that's going to be some next-gen tour de force, but I do think it's going to be troublesome on those older, weaker consoles. I think that's exactly the issue and cause for delay. I would guess that they won't be the last company to split the release dates where PS5 and Series X come out before the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Which is the same result of the same action. They win by delaying old gen. But what I think is, I think it has less to do with console sales and Microsoft and Sony saying, hey, it's time to move on. I don't think Microsoft and Sony had anything to do with this. I don't. I think the developers and the publisher were like, listen, we want this game to get highly praised, and the old gen's going to sully that if they're having performance issues. There's also the potential that they're literally just trying to optimize old gen to get it to run well, you know. Game lives or dies on the first day. This has me so steamed. Don't get me wrong, says Talika. If they're having issues getting the game to run on last gen, the delay's understandable, but they could offer some compensation for those who, like me, ordered last gen copies because current gen collector's editions were sold out. I didn't name you, Talika, but I mentioned you in my show open. I said, we have a community member that wanted to get the collector's edition and settled for last gen, thinking, oh, I'll be able to upgrade for the $10 when the game comes out, and now you're stuck with an April release date. You know what I'm saying? They better not delay old gen, though, because I got pre-order early access with PS4, and if they don't let me get in, I'm going to be fuming. You've already been delayed, Steza. Or Steza. Steza plays, you've already been delayed. Your PlayStation 4 version's in April, not in February. You will not be playing this game until February. I'm sorry, until April. That's literally the announcement that has everybody ticked off. You pre-ordered, you wanted that early access, you wanted to jump in moment one, you cannot do that now. Unless you have this game pre-ordered, or you pre-order it, or whatever, on the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X, you will not be playing this game in February. Sorry I was late. No, you're good. That's the headline. That's why my thumbnail says bad news for some. The Hogwarts Legacy release date news is that you're not playing this game in February unless you have it on PS5, Series X, or Series S. That's it. The Nintendo Switch is July 25th, and it's April. It's April for the previous generation consoles. And the 72 hours of early access, you're not getting that either. April the 4th is your new release date. No PC port? Oh, it's launching on PC, is it not? Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to say PC. PC is still launching February the 10th. I forgot to say that. Sorry. I was thinking of the consoles more than PC. PC's not affected by this. at all, because you're likely getting a very similar version. Kind of out of order in my opinion. I get that optimization needs to be done, but that's just out of order. In what ways is that out of order? I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but homie, you are on the old consoles, bro. It's 2022. You're talking about 2023. That's 2 full years of those consoles being in circulation. I'm not trying to be unkind, but you're out of step with where the industry's going. I don't think they're doing anything out of order. It's a bummer and it sucks, but it's certainly not out of order. How many 11-year-olds have a PS4 compared to PS5? That's the target audience of this game. I don't think 11-year-olds are the target of this game at all, Hilly. I think the target of this game is 27 and up people who grew up watching the movies and reading the books. I do not think children are the target audience of this game at all. I think the target audience of this game is adults. Like, big time Harry Potter fans. Yeah, I mean, Eugene's saying 15 to 40. Yeah, I mean, teenagers too, but I would hazard a guess that most of the hardcore Harry Potter fans are now in their 20s, and they want this game. I don't think children are paying any attention to Harry Potter at all. And now many of those 11-year-olds only play FIFA and Fortnite. I bought my nephew a PS5, and that's all he does. Yeah, that's generally what they're interested in. Kind of want to stop accepting delays and start expecting deadlines to be met with a complete product, says TJ Rage with a $5 tip through Super Chat. Thank you so much for the $5 tip. Who wants us to start us off this morning? Who wants to be the first member on our member goal? Who wants to be the first coffee order? Thanks, everybody, for being here. Make sure you're smashing all the buttons. We are talking Hogwarts Legacy release date news. Not good news for those on old gen. You're going to have to wait a little bit longer. My nephews are like, Harry who? Even my nephews, I think, are Harry Potter fans, but I don't know if they're looking forward to this game. They're all into Apex and COD and the Fortnite, and I don't know. No matter when Sony starts really pushing hard to switch completely over, there are going to be people complaining about it, both that it's too slow or that it's too early, so they got to do it. I don't even know. Here's the thing, Derek. I don't even know if Hogwarts Legacy is causing people to say this is too early, right? Andrew says listening to the stream on all the time on Spotify, finally able to catch it live. Well, thank you for being here, Andrew. I appreciate that support very much. I don't think this is people saying this is too early. I think this is people that are irritated because you gave them a release date, they pre-ordered the game, and now you're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be 2 more months. That's why people are irritated. I don't think I've seen a single person that was like, this is too early, come on, like, it's not time to switch to next gen. I think they're saying, hey, wait a minute, I pre-ordered this for early access. Or if you're like Talika, she literally ordered the collector's edition for old gen because she cared more about getting the cool collector's stuff, thinking, well, it all launches on the same date, I'll just upgrade for $10. King Sovereign coming in, haven't seen you in a while, with a $5 tip through Super Chat. I imagine that this practice might become more common. The Witcher 3 update is supposed to hit both next gen and last gen, but last gen comes later. Yeah, I think that's different. No, that's the Witcher 3 update is a next-gen update. They're doing some quality of life and a patch that might hit old gen. I don't think this is analogous to that at all. I don't think that's comparable because the Witcher 3 primarily, that thing is a next-gen update. There is no last-gen update. There's quality of life things coming in a patch that old gen gets to benefit from, but it is not at all meant to be an update for those old consoles. Of course, I agree with anybody upset. Oh, by the way, anybody doing super chats, I know like East Coast Overlord is always watching on mobile and he can't do this. Instead of doing a super chat, gift members. Like for $5, you can gift a member to somebody and that gets them in the content. If you can't gift members, if super chat's only available, I love you and I really appreciate the super chats. But if you literally can choose between super chat and gifted, lean towards that gifted. Let's get more folks in the Discord and the community and in the members only content. So, yeah, I think people are ticked because of the pre-orders, Derek. I agree anybody upset that they paid for something as advertised and then had the dates changed after the fact. That sucks no argument. Yeah, I think that is primarily where folks are landing on this. I've not seen anybody saying this is too early to switch, to next gen or whatever. It's, hey, y'all are the ones that walked out into the... I thought I heard something fall. Y'all are the ones that walked out into the public and said, hey, we got a multi-platform, multi-generational game coming in February. Get your pre-orders in, get this floating wand and book. You know what I mean? The Witcher 3 patch already happened for last gen? Oh, so they pushed it out to everybody. Yeah, I just want to be clear. Witcher 3 isn't getting some kind of a graphical update on old gen. I've not seen any announcements about that at all. No one's out money yet, though, right? If you pre-ordered, you can cancel. Yeah, but Eugene, like, if you pre-ordered the collector's edition, you don't want to cancel your collector's edition. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, well, let me cancel my old gen when what does that achieve anyway? What does canceling your pre-order achieve? You still want the thing. You know what I mean? If I pre-order the controller, that PlayStation controller, and then they email me and say, hey, it's getting a 2-month delay, I still want it. I'm irritated that I have to wait 2 months to get it, but it's not like, well, give me my money back. Like, that's not going to achieve anything. Like, I know you're like, well, nobody's out any money, but nobody's claiming, oh, I'm out money here. It's like, hey, wait a minute. Y'all did an unboxing of the collector's edition on your channel. You got us all pretty hyped, man. Like, y'all are dealing with Harry Potter fans. Y'all better be careful. Y'all better be careful, man. These companies know their games can't run on old gen. They're stealing folks' money, plain and simple, shady AF. Listen, my caution to anybody pre-ordering Hogwarts Legacy is, if you pre-ordered, like, collector's editions aside, let's forget collector's editions for a second. Let's just say you pre-ordered Hogwarts Legacy on PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. I would cancel my pre-order. I would. And that's not me doing, like, call to action boycotting. I'm saying I would wait. I would let this game launch on old gen and wait a week. You may quite literally be wasting your money. It might run like dog water on the old gen consoles. Got the emergency Sour Patch Kids on deck. Okay, so no. So they have the naughty and the nice boxes, and my wife puts these in the coffee orders. If you order enough coffee, we have to use like a box. So it's 4 bags or more. So that she brought these down and told me to tell you guys she's doing that. I don't have emergency Sour Patch. Did someone not say something to the effect of people aren't getting what they paid for? They're not getting what they paid for, Eugene. One of the pre-order perks was this game is launching on February the 10th, and if you pre-order, you can play 72 hours early. They're not getting that. That is no longer a benefit. So sure, they can cancel their pre-order and be like, oh, I got my money back. So when someone says, I'm not getting what I paid for, yeah, the deal's been altered. Pray I don't alter it further, I guess. Like, the deal's been altered. They procured pre-orders on, hey, you can play this game 72 hours early. Launches on the 10th. You can play on the 7th. And that's a lot of freaking people right now that are like, well, no, I don't get that now. And now they're all given the chore of canceling their pre-order, maybe, because they suddenly don't want the game because they can't play a couple days early. At least you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that they're like having their money stolen. Demand for the product doesn't evaporate just because the release date got pumped or pushed. You know what I'm saying? They still want it. And now when they get it, they don't get it on the original release date. They don't get 72 hours of early access. Those are two things that I think the customers should be compensated for. I think if you pre-ordered on PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, I think if you keep that pre-order, you should be compensated in some way. At the very least, do the 72 hours of early access. At least give them that. at least let them in 72 hours early, since that was what you originally promised them. You owe them something at that level. Like, well, you can cancel your pre-orders. No, I'm keeping my pre-order, and I would like to be given something to compensate for what I'm losing. I don't think any of that's unfair for the customer to claim. You got my money. You know I want your product. You promised me A and B. I ain't getting A and B. So figure out how to give me C and D. Ha giggity. Figure it out. It's on you. It's not on me. I didn't announce pre-orders. You did. I didn't accept pre-orders and talk about a launch date in 72 hours early. You did. And you can't make good on that. So what you can do is you can make it up. You can give people something. I don't know, some stupid cosmetic pack would be enough, I think, to make everybody be like, well, hey, thank you for something. Facts, especially since we could buy all the pre-order bonuses when the game is out. Yeah. We talking last gen updates? I mean, the last gen got delayed. They should be given the extra mission that PlayStation has. Well, you can't do that. You can't have that because that's under contract with Sony. You can't start shifting that stuff around. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. The thing they're missing out on is the 72 early access of playtime. But what about the other bonuses? You would still get it when it comes. You just miss out on the 72 hours early playtime. But it's not just the 72 hours of early playtime. It's also the release date. You pre-order it thinking, I'm playing that game on the 10th, oh no, I can play 72 hours early. I'm playing on February the 7th. Neither of those two things are true now. I mean, telling the customer you can pre-order and we're going to give you A and B, and then you can't give them A and B, that's on you to rectify that. It's not on the consumer to do what? Cancel their pre-order doesn't do anything. It doesn't achieve a thing. It doesn't achieve a single thing. I'm going to cancel my pre-order on principle. Okay. Do you still want to play the game? Well, yeah. So you're going to buy it after it comes out? Of course. Okay. Well, you've achieved nothing by canceling your pre-orders. I think people should cancel their pre-order on old gen for completely different reasons. If you pre-ordered Hogwarts Legacy for the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, I would cancel my pre-order, not on principle, but because I'd be concerned the game's not going to run that well since it just got delayed again on those consoles. Like, that would be what I would say. That's why you should cancel your pre-order. Disregard the early access. So anytime a customer pre-orders now and there's a delay, they need to be compensated. Only if the delay disrupts the promise. Yeah, if I pre-order, let's say I pre-ordered, what's something coming out next year? Let's just say I pre-ordered the Horizon DLC and they delay it by 2 months. They don't owe me anything, no. I'm still getting the product, I'm just getting it late. Like, it's like delayed shipping, right? Like when you order something and the shipping gets delayed, like my coffee that never shows up on time. The coffee we send you gets there lightning fast. But when we order the coffee, it's always a nightmare with freight, right? I still got the product. The early access is the problem. You incentivized people to pre-order to get in early, and now they're not getting that. Like, look at the thing we were talking about the other day with Diablo 4. Imagine if Diablo 4 procured all these pre-orders because why? You get the gold and the ultimate edition or whatever it's called. You get into the beta early, everybody gets into the open beta early, and you get into the game early. Well, if they cancel the beta and then they shuffle the dates and then you don't get early access anymore, you have a right to be like, wait a minute. You procured my pre-order under these terms. Those terms are not being met. Therefore, I deserve to be compensated in some way. A release date's not necessarily a term, but when early access is attached to it, it's now part of the terms. It's now part of the terms. Because I went to your website, and this is what you were promoting, and I clicked this button, and it said, here's the release date. You get 72 hours of early access on this release date. That's not happening anymore. They're still getting early access. If you pre-order early access, you get it when the game releases on your platform. That is false. That is not true. It was officially announced that early access now only applies to PS5 and the Series X and the Series S. They're not getting early access anymore. So at the very least, they need to do that. They need to say, hey, your game launches in April now, you still get early access. But they said that you don't. Now, if they've come out and said that you do, then they've changed their position on it. Because when it was announced, the 2 to 3 different press readings I read said no more early access unless you're getting it in February. Early access is gone for everybody else. I semi-agree, but as a consumer, you can say F your pre-order. Of course, and that's more of a sending a loud and clear message. You're not actually taking money from them because you're going to probably buy it anyway. Does that make sense, Eugene? Like, you're doing it on principle. Like, if they get a bunch of canceled pre-orders, well, then that's the market responding and saying, okay, F you. 90% of those people are probably going to come back and get the dadgum game again anyway, right? We've been live for about 30 minutes, guys. Help us out if you're enjoying the content. Smash the buttons, spam those Lono dope emotes, be the first to hit the member goal that we're trying to do, or be the first to order coffee. We appreciate you. We're having a conversation about Hogwarts Legacy release date news. Not good for those who pre-ordered on old gen consoles. And we don't really care about the Nintendo Switch because everybody knew. They were honest about that very early on. They were like, here's the release date. We don't have a release date for Nintendo Switch. So, anybody that saw that announcement should have anticipated that the Nintendo Switch was going to be later. And I don't think that's a problem. They were honest. And, they also weren't taking pre-orders on the Nintendo Switch. I'll just buy the game on release now. You get all the pre-order bonuses anyway. Staggering the releases just seems like they are trying to have as many eyes on each release. No, I don't think so, Jeffrey. I don't think so. I think what they're doing is Jaggy threw this theory out, and I'm running with it. I think this is the theory. I think what they're doing is they don't want people to see the old gen versions and have it sully their reviews and their reception. Similarly to how Cyberpunk launched, and it had a rough launch, but all we heard about was how bad it ran on old gen. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think they're trying to we want to maximize attention on this property. No. I think it's going to struggle to run well on old gen, and they don't want that in the headlines. They don't want reviews to focus on that because that became the central focus of Cyberpunk. Space Delvakeen says they want to avoid another Cyberpunk game. Move the later gen so it doesn't affect the reviews. I feel sorry for people on PS4 that can't play in February, and now they got to wait till April. Old gen had to go. CD Projekt also lied about the game's development. When did they lie about the development? What are you specifically referring to? I don't remember them ever being accused of lying about development. As we inch closer to 400 views, I'm going to start us off and just say thank you guys for a strong start and a strong morning. Thank you, everybody who's smashed like and been awesome. Thank you to all of the people who are chilling in the chat ahead of time and saying good morning and smashing buttons. Y'all are the best. We will be checking out the Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay Showcase. That's our second show today. Realm Rex, you got the first member. Enjoy that. I just gifted that to you. Welcome on in. Members, your member stream will be the third stream today. Instead of it being in the middle during lunch, it'll be the third stream because we need to go right into the Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay Showcase. That's our second stream today. Apparently, they're going to be showing us like traversal and broom riding and some other combat. So I'm excited about that. Oh, there's another Wukong showcase? Well, we won't be able to watch that. You're welcome, Realm Rex. Good morning. Thanks for being here, dude. That's one. That puts us at the one. I put that odd number over there. That way it bothers some people, and they feel like they got to do it. Agreed, time to move on from old gen. This is 100% the beginning of the tide turn. This is it. We've got games that were announced during the Game Awards that are next gen only. We got DLCs coming out that are leaving behind old gen. This is the beginning. This is soft. This isn't a hard thing. What about Wukong? Apparently there's a Wukong gameplay showcase this afternoon. This is not a hard move, right? Why am I only seeing 58 likes? It might be glitched. You might need to refresh. I'm seeing 191, so we're right on the doorstep of 200. Kratos, sometimes you have to refresh. The UI can act up. This is a soft turn, but it's still a turn, right? PC's release date's not changing, Bellex. You'll be able to play same day. You'll still get early access. None of that has been changed. So you'll get your early access. You'll get in the game. All those things are still happening. My Transformers sound impersonation short crushed this morning. That's funny. Sorry, Lono. Gonna go watch High Life gameplay. Vid be back in an hour. Hey, man, you're still watching my content. You don't got to apologize. I feel bad for people that can't afford the new system, says Snake. I feel like this is where old gen dies, but at the same time, not everyone can fork out the money for next gen consoles yet. Listen. I know that times are tough. I am not talking about anybody right now who is struggling to pay their bills. I'm not talking about those people. There are people right now that when these consoles were announced could have been setting money aside every month and would easily have every dollar needed to buy it. They didn't just announce these. They didn't just release these, right? They've been out for 2 years, okay? So, I am not scolding anyone, right? I'm not going to do that boomer thing of like, just save your money and just work hard. Shut up, grandpa, right? This ain't your generation anymore, all right? Everything's expensive and it sucks, okay? That's the reality. Everything's expensive and it sucks. But there's another reality that these consoles launched 2 years ago. And if it's a priority for you and you had the ability to save money and set it aside and you didn't do it, that's on you, okay? If you're trying to rub $2 bills together to pay your bills, I feel for you. And it sucks that you can't buy the console right now. Everybody finds those low times in life where they can't do and buy the things that they want. I know that firsthand. The last 2 years of sort of rebuilding what we do here, I've had to say no and ignore and not buy and do a lot of the things I've wanted to do for my wife and my family. And it friggin' sucks, right? All kind of appliances I would love to replace in my house for my wife because they're old and they're annoying, but we make it work, right? We make it work. And if you're saying the same thing about a PlayStation 5 or a Series X, you're like, I just can't do it right now. I can't justify the purchase. Okay? I feel for you. That sucks, right? Do what you can, keep going, and maybe you can start setting that money aside, right? Find ways, do what you got to do. But I don't think anybody looking at the landscape right now is like, oh man, I can't believe people just can't get these consoles. Well, I mean, yeah, there are people that can't, but there's plenty of people that can, and the people that can, they need new games. They need next gen. This is why I don't accept 30 FPS. People defending 30 FPS need to get out of the gaming industry. Stop talking about games. You're hurting him. I spend all this money for next gen for you to be like, it's fine if they run like games did 10 years ago. Shut up. No. I don't agree with that at all. Like, buy a Blu-ray player and say that. It's fine if it looks like the VHSs I grew up on. No, you paid for quality and should get it. And the people that bought next gen consoles should get quality for their purchase. You got to be careful because you may be waiting to get your PS5 and Series X right now, and when you finally do, you want it to be awesome. You want the games to be great. You don't want to finally get there and have a bunch of sullied, mediocre, poorly optimized games because, oh, well, yeah, we really had to help out old gen. You get to the point where you've just got to leave old gen behind. It's facts. You being able to afford the next-gen console is 100% irrelevant and deserves no consideration. The only thing that matters is the availability. The rest is on you. Right, and the market's clearly going to show that as supply goes up, demand's not going to slow down. People are still going to be scooping these things up lightning fast. Got my PS Direct. Time for God of War Ragnarok. Enjoy it. It's wonderful. I still think the 30 FPS defenders are those that haven't had their new consoles for long. Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. If you guys are looking forward to the Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay Showcase that's happening later today, you'll be able to watch it with us. We do discussion-style content like this. It's like a talk show. And then we also do little, like, gameplay ride-alongs and premieres. We covered the Game Awards. That's the kind of content we do here. So make sure you're hitting subscribe. That enables you to talk in my chat. Subscribing is free. Membership is $5 a month, and it gets you into a bunch of extra content. And that's what this thing over here in the corner is for. This is the first time we have had an extended cross-gen for games. If anything, it's on the companies more than the players for supporting the old consoles for so long. Well, it was a unique scenario, Paul. I mean, I don't think in the grand scheme of scoping out cross-generational support and converting people over, I don't think that chip shortage was in anybody's mind. I don't even know if we'd be having these conversations if we were living in an alternate reality where none of that happened and PS5s and Series X's were able to just distribute like mad, like they probably wanted to. I don't know if we'd be in this scenario. The cross-generational support window got extended by, you know, mitigating circumstances or unforeseen circumstances that just completely derailed so much of what the tech world wanted to do. We'd be getting price drops by now. Oh, for sure. You'd be getting price drops this holiday season, and then next year, you'd be lining up to buy the Pro versions, right? All of that got bumped, too. All of that got bumped. Excuse me. Argus is right. What did Argus say? Who is Argus? I don't see anybody in chat with that name. Oh, Solemn. I always call him Solemn. The new consoles are literally the same or cheaper than last gen was when it came out. You being able to afford it does suck, but it's not an acceptable excuse when it comes to leaving behind last gen. I don't even think anybody was arguing that. I just think they were sort of being sympathetic and empathetic. They're like, man, it just sucks for the people who can't get the new consoles because they can't afford them. I didn't get the impression that when they said that, they were like, yeah, we should definitely be, you know, not moving on yet. I think they were saying, oh man, it's got to be a bummer for the people that are kind of stuck, because to be quite honest, you know, the people that care about it the most are probably the people that really, really want to upgrade and are just unable to. You know, once you upgrade, you don't really think about it. You've just moved forward with tech, and everybody else is you know, wishing that they could. Hello, guys. Hello. Welcome on in. Yeah, the sickie screwed things up, too. Let's say it's because they're having problems optimizing it for the PS4 and the Xbox One, says J-Murph. Well, then how bad is it going to be on the Nintendo Switch, which is even weaker? This is a good question. Now, I think Hogwarts Legacy is a test case for some of the things that I've been saying about, you know, my concerns for the Series S. But I don't want to talk about that right now because I'm going to get all the Xbox guys riled up and they're just going to speak in platitudes about how the S is fine. I don't want to talk about that. But I do think if you look at the Nintendo Switch and you look at PS4 and the Xbox One, they're like the minimum spec optimization. Now, Eugene is saying it'll be cloud streamed, which means they're currently trying to figure out how to do that well, right? So they're trying to figure out how to cloud stream it. And if you bump up from that and you look at, like, you know, Xbox One and PS4, and then we move forward, it does make you wonder at what point will they push beyond the next bottom line. There's always that bottom line of, like, minimum specs. It's always there. It is. It's always there. I used to be empathetic, but now I care more about games moving forward and progressing more than people not being able to afford it after it's been out for 2 years. Not being able to find one is acceptable, but not for much longer. Brandon says, what's afternoon, Lono? How you been? Sorry I've not been active. No worries, man. Welcome back. Yeah, I mean, the thing is you don't necessarily need like a bleeding heart for people that can't afford consoles and next gen. But we do want people to get into a more empowered state because that's better for the market, right? When they start flooding the market with these consoles, you don't want everybody to be like, sorry, man, I'm on hard times. I can't buy one. I'd have bought one 2 years ago, but I can't buy one now, right? There are reasons to be concerned about folks' ability to buy these things. At one level, yeah, it's not necessarily like an emotional thing. It's the market needs everybody to be buying stuff. You know, you can't have everybody like penny pinching and not buying anything. As an Xbox guy myself, anyone that claims the S is fine is delusional and needs to find a proper support system to guide them back to correct direction. Someone once said that gaming is a selfish hobby. I'm starting to see the wisdom of that statement. In what way? I think they didn't stop it on purpose. They could have made it where it was like one per address, and that would have solved everything. Oh, solved everything with what? With the scalpers? I don't think they cared about the scalpers. Still don't see anyone saying, I wish they'd stop developing for the 1060s. I'm not sure what you mean. You don't see anyone saying, man, I wish they'd stop developing for the 1060s. Games have never been $30. Yeah, I don't think you've ever been in an environment where video games were $30. If you're just tuning in, we're discussing the Hogwarts Legacy release date news that unless you're getting this on PlayStation 4 or Xbox Series X or S, you will be playing this later than originally announced. You will not be playing this on February the 10th. If you're playing this on a PS4 or an Xbox One, you'll be playing it April... I keep forgetting the date. It was April 10? No, April 4th. April 4th. And then July 25th for the Nintendo Switch. The market needs to shift, and sadly, people will be left behind. But to progress into the future, companies need to drop the old gen and use those resources elsewhere. PS5, you mean? Did I misspeak? The only way you're playing this game on its launch date is if you play PC, PS5, or Xbox Series X and S. That's the February 10th release date, right? PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. If you're going to be playing this on the PS4 or the Xbox One, you will not be playing this until April the 4th. That is your new release date. So it basically got another delay. This is another Hogwarts Legacy delay, but not for everybody. PC is its own can of worms, but maintaining and buying consoles is a much wider base of people to worry about. PC titles have more graphic settings to adjust to your needed performance. 7th for me. That is correct. If you pre-order the version... if you pre-order the PS5 version or the Xbox Series X S version, you will be playing on the 7th of February because you get the 72 hours of early access. Does Returnal require an SSD on PC? No, but it requires a whole lot of memory, and we have a video about that over on our updates channel. So if you missed that, that is there, and it... I think is helpful info. We have been enjoying the support for all of our channels. Our updates channel, the Legos channel, and then here at Reforge Gaming. The Lego channel's not a Reforge property. It's like a hobby channel, but you guys have been awesome over there. I see you guys leaving comments. Yeah, 32 gig of RAM on PC. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's... we did it, yeah. If you want to see the report, that's a great reason to support the updates channel, because I can't cover everything that happens in the gaming world here, so little quick updates like that hit over there. That's pretty crazy. I wish a savior can help us liberate the gaming industry from high costs of games. No one's going to save you from the high costs of games, because games, like everything, are going up in price. Do you say that about music? Do you say that about movies? Do you say that about the cost of bread? You know what I'm saying? I don't usually buy multi-platforms on my PlayStation, but I think buying it on my PS5 just gets me a better version of the game content-wise, so that will likely be a deciding factor. Yo, good morning, Abe. Yeah, I would say that the controller doing the colors for the Hogwarts Legacy houses, and then the haptic feedback for the mixing, and then the extra content, the extra mission, the extra shop, the what is it? Oh, the potion. You know what I mean? So yeah. There's PlayStation pre-order bonuses too. Yeah, you get like cosmetics and stuff. That is true. That is true. You do get a lot. The Hogwarts Legacy PlayStation exclusives are pretty nice. I don't like it. I wish they weren't doing that. I wish everybody got the same version, but you want those particles and effects all at once, then 32 gig of RAM without the PS5 data streaming technology sounds about right. If that requirement sticks, Corey, then that is a massive feather in the PlayStation 5's cap. That you need that much RAM to run one of their games. You know what I mean? Saying for 2 years, PCs needs to drop HDDs altogether. Returnal just proves it. Yeah, that's wild. Those were good neck pops. Holy moly. Refresh my memory, please. Are those PlayStation exclusives or PS5 exclusives? They're PlayStation exclusives. Yeah. They're not PS5 exclusives. So if you play Hogwarts Legacy on PS4, you will get those things. You will get that extra mission, extra potion, and the extra shop. Yeah. That is still a thing for sure. Is a 32 gig at max settings? It's what? No. That's not minimum. That's recommended. Minimum is 8 or 16. But recommended is 32. For Fanda, it's time. For random storage, HDDs are fine, but for games on SSD and PC should be the... Yeah, I don't disagree. But what are they going to do? Change the hardware saturation of the market overnight? Like, who's going to do that? Are you going to do it? What company could? You know what I'm saying? What company could do that? Like, I don't know. I have a stack of them. I've just been scared of regular old HDDs for a while because I had an external one crash on me and I lost a bunch of stuff. Hey, first coffee order of the day, a bag of Frickmas to... I don't want to say your name. If you're in chat and you want if this is your username, I don't want to say your name, like your first name. But thank you. First Frickmas order. We got one member toward the goal. Let's keep it going, guys. Last year, I finally got rid of my last HDD. The M2 SSDs are so cheap nowadays. If SSDs were so popular, PC games would be requiring them. Yeah, they would if they had better market saturation, for sure. That's the hard thing. That's the hard thing is when that many people don't need to upgrade their rig because they just keep playing and playing and playing. You know what I mean? We're getting off topic, though. You guys, we're 52 minutes in, and you guys have already hijacked chat to talk about something that has nothing to do with Hogwarts Legacy. We've got to stop. We got to stop doing that. We can't be as free reign as we used to be. You want to be free reign, talk about anything under the sun? That's what members-only streams are for. We're talking Hogwarts Legacy. I got discussion questions. We can't spend the next 10 minutes doing tech geek talk. Nobody cares about that. Drive-by viewers looking for Hogwarts Legacy coverage don't care about your opinion on hard drives or Returnal. They don't. Y'all gotta stop doing that. It's like we get 45 minutes in, you're like, I'm done with this topic. I'm bringing something else up. Oh, okay, you gotta quit. We got places for you to do that in the Discord. What's the news on the release date? So if you're just tuning in late, all right, the Hogwarts Legacy release date is now a staggered release date, right? It's now a staggered release date. So, if you pre-ordered the game on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X or S, or PC, it is still launching on February the 10th. You also get 72 hours of early access, okay? Then, if you pre-ordered the game on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, the game is releasing on April the 4th, right? April the 4th. So that's like a 2-month delay. Then if you're going to play Hogwarts Legacy Nintendo Switch, it will be July 25th, right? July 25th. We were talking about leaving behind lower specs and why people ask devs to leave PS4 behind, but not crappy PC specs. Right. Okay, so they ask people to leave behind PS4 behind, but not crappy PC specs. Well, there's a big reason for that, Eugene. So, let's say somebody was arguing that Hogwarts Legacy should have left behind old gen, right? Yo, Cody Biscuits, thank you for 7 months. Thank you very much, and it's a member plus. Hope you and the family are doing well. Thank you for jumping back in, Cody. I appreciate that. Let's say somebody was making that argument. You guys really should have left behind old gen on Hogwarts Legacy. And your pushback might be, well, are you arguing that they should leave behind the 1660 on PC? Well, no one's going to argue that because you can't really quantify that. What does leaving behind the 1660 even mean? If you play on a 1660 rig and you turn all the Hogwarts Legacy settings down and get it to run at a mediocre or shaky level or whatever, that's not the same. Minimum spec optimization in PC land isn't exactly one-to-one to making sure your game can run on a PlayStation 4. There's a huge difference between, we got to make sure Hogwarts Legacy can run on PS4. Well, how much time did they spend doing that? Clearly not enough, since they've delayed it. But when you look at the PC realm, it's like, I don't know if they do that. I don't think they look at low-end PC specs and say, all right, let's target this. I feel like maybe they target a beefy middle, and then they run benchmarks and tests, and they say, this is the minimum requirements. Anything below this, and the game's just not going to run at acceptable levels. I already said why PC low specs are less of a problem than old gen. PC games have more graphical and performance settings to tweak. Right, the person can go in and just opt out of certain settings and features. They could go into Hogwarts Legacy and say, well, turn off this or turn that off or lower the draw distance or, shrink my FOV or lower my resolution or whatever the heck, and then that's going to make it potentially run better. You can't do that on a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. The devs have to do that for you. That's Hogwarts, far higher than old console specs. So their system requirements on PCs, Paul is saying, is quite a bit higher than old console. So they actually did leave behind old gen tech on PC, Eugene. They did. Do you see what I'm saying? The devs can do that themselves? What do you mean they can do that themselves? I mean, they're asking you to have an NVIDIA GeForce 1070 or an AMD RX Vega 56 on PC. So that's stronger than the old gen consoles. So they actually did leave behind old tech on PC. They did. You can't run. You're not going to be able to run Hogwarts on a what's a vid card lower than 1070, like a 960. You're not going to be able to do it. Most games are 970 on PC for min. That's a big leap for minimum when it comes to PC, says Butters. Are we saying that developers can't just set those low settings for console? No, they can't. They have to optimize. There's not some switch somewhere that the devs are like, oh, it's got to run on PS4. Hey, Hank, can you hit the low settings button? Cool. All right, that version's ready. No, they got to make sure everything works right. You turn down draw distances and texture detail. Oh, okay, you got to run simulations. You got to make sure it's not going to break something, right? You got to make sure there's not some junk code somewhere that, oh yeah, when you lower the texture draw distance and the texture fidelity, these barrels just break the game. Why? I don't know. We got to figure it out. There's a lot that they have to do. They can't just hit a button with the settings turned down. Yeah. You don't have the same options to optimize and tweak on console as you do on PC. On console, you basically get brightness, motion blur, sometimes FOV, never games, maybe some minor FPS modes. Oh no, I have a degree in CS. That's exactly what we do. The IDE has a low settings Series S mode built in nowadays. That's good. That's good, Abe. That's good. That's well done. New consoles were hard to come by until recently. Leaving old gen out is missing a big chunk of the market. I get why they are still developing. Oh, for sure, Coral Reefer. For sure. When they opted with Returnal and Ratchet to leave behind PS4, I mean, that was a big deal. That's a lot of people that were like, I can't play that game, I guess. Thank you to all the new subscriptions today. I love seeing it. I love seeing it. Thanks for all the support on our Call of Duty upload, on our shorts. That Call of Duty upload, I love seeing it. I do. And everybody who commented on the Armored Core upload, thanks for supporting our upload content. I know this is mainly a live channel, but we started doing shorts and we started doing little 10-minute uploads at the end of the day. Man, you guys are crushing it. It's awesome to see. If they left behind older PC in the market, surely it wasn't a leap to figure that last-gen consoles was going to be a problem. Did they jump the gun selling this for last-gen pre-orders? That's why I said in my show open, I'm curious what happened. I'm really curious what happened. Like, well, midway, did you guys add a bunch of stuff? Did the size and the scope of the game get out from underneath you? How long has this game been in development? Or are they pulling a not a Cyberpunk, but are they pulling some kind of a trick where it's like, well, there's so many people that could buy this on Nintendo Switch. There's so many people that could buy this on the series, on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. We got to make versions for those platforms. Monetary reasons. Guys, I have been streaming for exactly 1 hour. At the 1 hour mark, YouTube is always like, hey, now's a good time to run ads. We don't do that during live streams. I prefer to let you guys own a member goal, grow the member base. That's how live streams live and die. If you're a member or have gifted members, you're the lifeblood. If you can't afford a membership, watch as often as you can, smash like, and talk in chat. That increases your chances of getting a gifted member. And thanks for being here. They saw that the next-gen sales numbers, and they decided the investment in maintaining old-gen might not be worth it. Well, what did Hilly say? The next announcements will be that old-gen versions of Harry Potter are canceled. If you need a 1070, no shot this game runs on an Xbox One or a PS4. That's what I'm saying, Hilly. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like, this thing's gonna struggle. Like, I told people earlier to cancel their Hogwarts Legacy pre-orders, not on principle of boycott or out of anger, but out of concern. Like, wait a minute. I mean, this thing's been in development for a really long time. I would wait if I were you. I would wait. Watch reviews. Watch gameplay. See what people say. You might not want to play this thing on old gen. You might want to wait until you get your hands on a PS5 or a Series X. Notice I said Series X. Don't be mad. I don't think the game will be that good. I actually think the game is going to be quite good. I do. I think this game is going to be quite good. It's because they have to scale it down for the Spud. Is that what we're calling it now? Gotham Knights had to drop last gen. Look how it turned out. Low-end PCs is better than mobile gaming. What are you just saying? Random stuff? So excited? It's going to be a 2077 situation, says Dustin. I hope the current gen runs okay. I'm waiting this one out. Waiting for so many years. I know, Bellix. I know. Then again, I'm not into that franchise. Monster Hunter Rise on January 20th. I know. I might play it for an afternoon and see if I like it. They might get a game, but they're not getting anywhere like the PC version, says Hilly. I'm excited, but also very worried. Well, that was one of my discussion questions this morning that I kind of saved. I said, does this cause concern about the game's performance overall? Right? Are you concerned about this game's performance just across the board? Like, wait a minute. What, you guys, what are y'all doing? Or do you think now it's going to run fine on next gen and PC? When something like this happens, I don't know about you, but I start to grow concerned about the game as a whole. I'm like, whoa. What's going on over there? For similar reasons, I'm concerned about some of the other titles that have been delayed. Not like being a hater. I'm just like, man, you can you can delay a game as much as you want, but that it increases my concern. I'm not anti-delay, but I'm very much like, yo, what's going on over there? I think it'll be absolutely fine on decent hardware, says Sinos. Not across the board, no, says Baba, but old gen is concerning. If people in low-end PC are neglected, they either are going to contribute to console or upgrade their PC, or they would hope for a mobile version of the game, which lead to tons of microtransactions. The last part of your sentence doesn't make any sense to me. I don't see a lot of people struggling to play games on their PC turning into mobile gamers. I don't think so. That seems kind of weird. Hogwarts is about the only game I'm looking forward to right now, says Kyle. Thankfully, I have a PS5. Phantom Phoenix says, I feel like the split release date shows they are confident with current gen performance. If not, they would delay it too. Yeah, let me throw something by you. Or they don't have a choice. Like, this thing needs to come out, and they're trying to put their best wobbly foot forward. Listen, I've been in this game's corner. I've been excited about it. I keep telling people I think it's going to surprise people. It's going to be like a surprisingly deep RPG. But I don't know, man. This makes me kind of like, oh, what's going on over there? Suede says, good morning. I've been in and out of the stream due to work, but do you think that we're seeing the tipping point of leaving behind last gen? Is Hogwarts Legacy making the move because it was being held back? This is related to a lot of subjects and conversations we've had recently about old gen and leaving behind old gen, and is cross-generational support holding games back? Eugene says the WB is in financial shambles. They need old gen sales 100%. Could be. Detective Seed says, I'm probably going to get hammered on this take, but I wish they would cancel last gen completely and focus on next gen only. It's been, 2 years? I don't feel bad when it's next gen only. I don't think anybody feels bad when something's next gen only. We have another talk show about that, about, Horizon. And there were a bunch of games during the Game Awards that were announced that were next gen only, right? I don't necessarily think that's an issue. Hey, somebody else ordered some coffee. 2 bags of Frickmas to the Danzatastic. Thank you, Danzatastic. That's 2 coffee orders. That's me, by the way. I try to kickstart this thing over here if you guys want to start getting this going. By the way, if you gift, you don't have to do 5. You can do like 1 at a time, right? If a bunch you just want to do 1 just to get it going, you can do that. You guys know that, right? The willingness to show this off publicly suggests they have serious confidence in the title. I mean, maybe. I think a beta shows more confidence than showing me gameplay that could be prefab or vertical slice or, running on a crazy PC rig. We don't know. We don't know what they're playing on. We don't know how, if it's a vertical slice or not. Now, the last time they showed us the game, it didn't play like a vertical slice. They were literally walking around, no load screen, just going from, piece of property to piece of property. They were not just staying in one place. There should be a community for games in USA that controls games, releases, and quality of the people work in the U.S. Senate, and they can make rules where gamers are winning. Because I'm going to be honest with you, everything you just typed is horrendously awful and would not help at all. We don't need that. We don't need some governing board making sure that games come out on time. We probably went through a 5 to 10 year stretch where publishers were doing a bang-up job doing that on their own. Well, just push it out. I don't care if it's not ready. And we got a lot of bad games as a result. We don't need a governing board doing that too. At what point do we stop adjusting the development for last gen and focus on current gen marketplace? Aside from Gotham, we should have beautiful games. We're getting beautiful games, but they're staggered, and we are coming and crawling out of a valley that no one wanted to go in. No one wanted to go through this valley of chipset shortages, console shortages, and working from home, and no one wanted this valley. We're climbing out of it now. So when you say, at what point do we stop adjusting development? When it's financially sensible to do so. A lot of these decisions that were made, a lot of these things that happened, were done out of necessity. No one was like, yeah, this is going to be great. Let's just, delay our game, or let's have cross-gen support. They weren't wanting, I don't think many companies were wanting to do this. I don't think. Now with Hogwarts, I think it's different, because Hogwarts has been in development for a really, really long time. Do you think that Sony will require Hogwarts to be shown on PS5 today? I kind of feel like we are never going to see the other versions. I think that's probably part of the marketing contract that they're in. Sony and the WB are in a marketing contract for Hogwarts Legacy. So this afternoon, we're going to co-stream the Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay Showcase. You guys can watch that here. In general, right? This, to me, I think this decision has way more to do with the fact that as they were developing Hogwarts Legacy, they started putting stuff in there that made it not... It's just not optimized for old gen. That would be my guess. Size and scope of the areas, you know. You can go to all these different areas, all these different places. I think the graphical fidelity and the lighting are fine. They're not crazy, but because of the size of the game, I think the game's actually quite pretty. And I think that's playing a role here. I think we are already at the point of financial viability for current gen only. You can go into stores and grab the Xbox Series X. PS5 is readily available on direct and in stores. It's time, in my opinion. Okay, well, you've been here. You've been a part of me covering game development and game announcements for a really long time, right? You're saying, hey, we're at that point now. Okay, great. When do you think we're going to see the results of that? Next week? First quarter next year? No. You won't see the results. If dev companies and publishers are looking at projections for PS5 market saturation and the availability of next-gen consoles, if they're looking at all that right now and they're planning to say, hey, the market's turning, it's time to really invest in next-gen, when do you think you're going to see the results of that? In like 4 or 5 years, bro. We are just now climbing out of the valley. We're getting announcements for next-gen only games. We're not getting a bunch of next-gen only games. Does that make sense? Like, we are getting announcements right now for games that are coming out on the horizon, 2024, that are like, yeah, next-gen only. It's time to stop calling them next-gen. They're current-gen. I know. I don't care about that. I think that's just a waste of energy to worry about those terms. We need to add somewhere to Nightbot. Oh, we have a command for that. Starting next week, non-members can gift members. We're gonna run a test. Oh, and then starting in January, Android will be able to. Okay, hang on. Allow gifts. Well, no. Hang on. It's edit com. Allow gifts. Use this link to allow gifts. Gifted members. There's a link now you can click on to allow gifts on my channel. You can use the allow gifts command. So if anybody's gifting members and you're like, hey, I can't get any, there's a link now that lets you do it. They're simplifying it. They're making more good changes. And what's that say? In Android will be able to, yeah, in January, people on Android will be able to gift. I know there's a lot of people who want a gift that can't. Because they're like on mobile. I think that is a valid point for the development cycle that I had not considered. However, it does seem odd, I guess, that some studios are able to do it while others choose not to. You'd have to have like a full rundown, detective, of when they made those decisions. Like when Housemarque made the decision with Returnal, did they make that decision with the understandings that, oh, it's going to be, yeah, PlayStation 5 is going to be really, really banging by the time it lands. Same with like Ratchet. You just have to wonder, like, did they get so far along in development that's like, we can't not do this now. It's baked into the game. Returnal can't run on PS4. It's not possible. We didn't know any of this was going to friggin' happen. Sony made that decision to have a showcase and paid for it. Same with Insomniac. That's right. But I'm saying, at what point in development did they make the decision? Probably at such an early point that there was no going back once the global realities started. Allow gifts option is not available on this channel. What the frick? That's really weird. Mike, so you clicked on the link and it told you that? That's really odd. Did anybody else click on that link and get that weird message? You might need some gifteds to test it. That's really awkward. Maybe it's not available for you because you currently have a membership or something? Yep, for me as well. Huh. Maybe the links... It did not say that. The link worked for me. Okay. Okay. That could be your account. It's working for some people. Okay. Okay. You've either already allowed it, maybe because you're already a member, or you could be on a branded account. There are some accounts that can't do it. Yeah, right there. It popped up. It popped up for Fuzzy. It popped up for Solemn. Okay, that's a good link. That's a good link then. Okay. Thank you, everybody who tested it out. Now maybe we'll get you. Maybe we'll get some of you guys in the fold here. Just make sure you're here. You're clicking like and chatting. That'll increase the likelihood of you getting one. I don't want to sidetrack the whole show talking about it. That command is now a really simple way for you to turn it on. If Ratchet could do it and be super successful, why can't a franchise like Harry Potter be able to take the risk of cutting old gen for new gen? Well, there's a handful of things that could be a part of this chronic spin dash. Number one, licensing alone. Licensing and royalty split. That alone could be making it like, no, we need to have as many sales as possible. I don't know. I don't know. Also, they're not beholden to a platform, so they're beholden to getting as many copies sold as possible a lot of the times. They're not thinking like Sony wanting to make PlayStation 5 look really, really good, and they did that with Returnal and Ratchet. It's interesting to think about and consider on the development side. There has to be that turning point, and we will be supporting old gen 5 years into the cycle. Yeah. I got this, but I have a branded account or whatever. Yeah, it seems like if you have a branded account, that link might not work for you. Oh, that's really cool in Discord. If you click on my name in Discord, it shows you what I'm streaming. Excuse me. Corey says, like I said, I think a lot of games started out as current generation games, and then studios have had to pivot to account for the fact that they needed the last gen version. So you think it's the other way around, Corey? You think when they started building Hogwarts, they were building it for next gen only, and then they pivoted? Or are you just saying some games have done that? I don't see a whole lot of evidence in the Hogwarts Legacy gameplay. I'm not seeing anything that looks like, oh my gosh, they were clearly developing this for next gen only. I'm not seeing evidence of that. I see a game they were building for old gen. I think they started adding things. I think the scope of the project, where you could go, I think all those things got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then old gen is like, man. We can't do all that stuff, right? I don't know. It's hard to know. It really is hard to know because with the PC requirements of Hogwarts Legacy, it's looking like a pretty stout game. At what point did it become that stout? Was it a process of scope creep, or from the beginning was it going to be this big and crazy? Bellick says that they started dev like 6 or 8 years ago. Yeah, if they started developing 6 or 8 years ago, then I don't. Yeah, 2018 there was footage leaked. I don't think they were developing for PS5 and Series X back then. I don't buy that. I don't think the dev kits were in circulation yet, were they? When did the dev kits get put out? It was like 2019, 2020 or something like that? Because we always presumed that like God of War started development immediately in 2018 or close to it, and they didn't have the dev kits yet. Same thing with Horizon. If holding back the game stops the crazy patches, I'm all for it. Bring back the days of complete games out of the box. We've definitely had some rough launches lately. High on Life looked like it was going to be rough, right? And then their day one patch fixed a lot of the frame issues that people were having. I can see dev kits being sent out mid-2018. Okay, so if the dev kits went out 2018 and this thing started development 6 or 8 years ago, that means this thing was being developed at the earliest 2016, and then the footage leaked in 2018. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the timeline for this game lines up with, oh yeah, they were building it for next gen only. For Hogwarts Legacy, I think gamers think of next gen as graphics, but things like data streaming are huge for developers in the PS5 and the PS4. Data streaming is like night and day. Well, I'm not going to disagree with you there. But what if, Corey, think of it this way. Let's say they started developing Hogwarts Legacy back in like 2016. And they get their hands on that PS5 dev kit, and they're looking at the data controller. They get their hands on the Xbox Series X dev kit, and they're looking at like the strength of the systems, and they're saying, okay, look, we can create a much more streamlined experience in Hogwarts. Virtually no loading screens, an immersive interconnected experience for exploration, and a truly special Hogwarts experience. What that does is that slowly pulls the game away from old gen. If I had to theorize what happened, I would say that's a closer explanation. I think the least likely explanation is that in 2016, they started building this game for consoles that we had no announcements or dev kits for. I doubt that. I don't think that's a likely explanation. I've never prepaid for a game. If it's not on the shelf at the store, I wait until it is. Well, a lot of people do prepay. A lot of people pre-order. How many people in here still pre-order games? Now, I know window of pre-order is different for everybody, but I mean, I'm a YouTuber, man. As soon as that pre-order button lights up, I'm clicking it because I got to be in there playing the game immediately. Y'all have to account for the fact that Sony was already probing devs for next-gen hardware spec requirements as early as 2015. So devs were already talking about potential. That still doesn't make the theory compelling. I don't think you can't cobble together a compelling theory that back in like 2014, 2015, Sony's talking to devs. You think they're out there talking to WB? No, they're probably talking a little bit to their in-house devs, I would think. You think they're out there talking to devs like WB and Avalanche and like, oh yeah, you should build a Harry Potter game and make it crazy. Well, they didn't have any dev kits yet. I don't think you can cobble together a compelling theory that this game was originally built for next gen. I don't think so. After reviewing The Witcher 3 next gen, it really just made me get more and more frustrated at these current games releasing. We have The Last of Us remake and now The Witcher. They're 7-plus-year-old games. Pulling off these beautiful upgrades that current games somehow cannot or will not do. Yeah, you want to know why, though, Detective? Because as good as The Witcher 3 upgrade looks, it doesn't look like a next-gen game if you really look at it with a close eye. It looks like an old-gen game upgraded. And no one is going to buy that. If they announced The Witcher 4 right now, and it looked like The Witcher 3 with the next-gen upgrade, people would be like, what the frick is that? That looks old. I'm dead serious. Nobody would look at a Witcher 4 gameplay reveal and be like, and if it looked as good as, Witcher 3 next gen, nobody would look at that and be like, oh my gosh, that's next gen. Nobody would say that. They'd be like, what the frick is that? So, sure, Last of Us Part 1, I believe, is a truly next gen experience, but The Witcher 3 is beautiful and it's a great achievement, but ain't nobody looking at that and saying that's the standard for next gen. I would not accept that as a new title at all. Yeah, nobody would. Witcher 3 upgrade on PS5 looks amazing. I played it all night, but it still certainly shows its age in a lot of areas. Yeah, I don't think so. I get what you're trying to do, but I think it's a challenge. Yo, J-Jab with 6 months, and it's a VIP. Did someone say gifted on mobile? I can't find it on iPhone. You might have to go to a browser to try to do it, J-Jab. In the mobile app, you might still not be able to do it. It's rolling out in batches, and some people can and some people can't. We need some people to test it out, though, because that's looking... That 1 out of 25 is looking sad. By the way, J-Jab is a VIP. I uploaded a video last night for Member Plus and VIPs. That's people that are spending more than the $5. They've upgraded. They're spending a little bit more. I didn't upload for them, and it's a behind-the-scenes look at the studio room and what I do. So make sure and check that out later, VIPs and Member Pluses. Both consoles were asking developers what they wanted in next-gen hardware, and every developer said SSD and data streaming. According to Sony Road to PS5, it was internal and external devs. That still doesn't create a compelling narrative or theory that Hogwarts Legacy was built for next-gen when it initially started. I don't believe that. I don't believe they got a questionnaire and they said, yeah, SSD and data streaming is huge for us, and then they decided to build a game hoping that that would be a reality. They don't know the specs. They don't know what's possible. They don't know the graphics card strength or the CPU strength or the memory count. They don't know any of that. So I don't see them developing. Again, I'm not saying that anything you're saying is false. I don't think any of it pushes up and holds up a theory that Hogwarts Legacy was designed for next gen first. No, it was in development too early. It was in development too long ago. No way. No, developers don't do that. They don't take shots in the dark. Well, Sony asked us what we really, really wanted, and we said SSD and data streaming. Let's assume they're going to give us that and build an entire game on that assumption. Like, that's not a thing. There is absolutely no way this game's development timeline lines up. It just isn't. There's no way. We have roadmaps for hardware all the way out to late 2020s. There are no major surprises. I'm not sure what you're saying, Senos. Even if they build the base for the game on PC thinking it could transition, they had no clue how the new consoles would behave without the dev kits. Yeah, I think the most sensible theory is scope creep, given that's more common in the dev world, and once those dev kits got circulated, they started doing things differently, upgrading things, and adding things in Hogwarts Legacy. What bad news? If you pre-ordered Hogwarts Legacy, your Hogwarts Legacy release date is now different if you pre-ordered it on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. You will now be playing on April the 4th. Nintendo Switch release date was announced as well, July 25th. The February 10th release date is only for the PlayStation 5, Series X and S, and PC. So, that's why the title of the stream is Hogwarts Legacy Release Date News, and then we have a thumbnail that says this is bad news for some. Okay. Is Harry Potter in UE5? I do not think so, no. That's good news for me. Hey, somebody else ordered some coffee. Kefka did a triple threat. Thank you so much. That's 3 coffee orders for the day. We had 8 yesterday. They're all going out today. I printed all the orders last night. You should have got an email. Those emails now should say that Reforge Roast did your shipment. You released 117 video episodes this year. They were in the top 5% most viewed. So Spotify just told us that our podcast was in the top 10% most shared globally, and that our 117 video episodes were in the top 5% most viewed. Well, let's frickin' talk, Spotify. Let's talk, baby! Yo, good morning, Andrew Mandrew. Sipping on some Reforge roasts. That's my man. That's my man right there. Ubisoft took a shot in the dark with Unity. The console CPUs ended up much weaker than expected at the time. Yeah. Most games will work on either gen. It comes down to the size of the game. If a game needs to load a ton of stuff into the frame, then it will only work on new gen. I don't think most games will work on either gen going forward. That's not true. 100 million contract when, right? Hey, Quintar and Lone Wolf. There we go. There we go. I was like, man, this thing's sitting. It's sitting at a standstill. That's 7 members for the day. They just gifted 5 from Quintar. Make sure and say thank you to Quintar. Make sure to thank you to Lone Wolf, Jason Advento, Thomas Seegers, Eric, Dredgen Buck, Victor Garcia, and Karma. You guys all got gifted members. If you're like, hey, I didn't need a gifted member, you can pay it forward. You can gift 1, 5, or more than that and get us to that goal. If we hit 25, I have to gift 5. So thank you guys for pushing us closer. Bleep says, to flip the argument around, what if the current gen consoles are the only ones powerful enough to provide a good enough experience upon release, and the extra time is going to be to optimize the code so it runs good on last gen and Switch and just gets better on current gen? I don't know. My concern is twofold, Bleep. My concern is they're struggling to get this thing to run on old gen, and they kicked it down to optimize it. And then my secondary concern is they're doing this because it's not going to run well on old gen, and it's going to be a PR protection thing. All the reviews when this game releases are going to be centered around the next gen version, which means they'll be singing its praises. Does Spotify easily let you monetize your podcasts? Yeah, we don't get the listenership needed though. When my podcast episodes were getting 1,000 to 2,000 listens, I had all sorts of advertisers approaching me. Right now, we're in the 200 to 300 range, which for video podcasts is very good. Spotify introduced video podcasts, and we're crushing it. But advertisers are probably looking at us and just saying, you just don't get the pull. So, we'll see. We're going to have a conversation with them and be like, hey, we're obviously putting out a quality product. Like, help us out here. Like, put us in good placement. Get us in front of folks. Like, help us grow our footprint over there. And then advertisers will come talk to me on their own. Like, Spotify is not necessarily the one that brokers those deals, if that makes sense. I'm on my 4th cup of Frickmas. I'll be ordering more soon. And it's good, isn't it? It's good. I forgot how good the Frickmas blend was. For those of you that don't know what he's talking about, our holiday blend, we got new resealable bags. We're very excited. The printers are giving us an opportunity to give you a limited edition bag. These are supposed to be black bags. So make sure and use hashtag #WhiteFrickmas if you post anything on social, and then I sign them when I send them to you. But our holiday blend's our most popular flavor. Struggling is not a word. A PS4 and an Xbox One are not a 1070. Plus a 1070 is a dedicated GPU. No shot April unless it's the 1st, says Hilly. I think we'll get decent reviews. It really depends if there's an actual story and depth to it and not just a Harry Potter sim. I actually think the RPG elements of Hogwarts Legacy look very promising. I think they look very promising. I think they could pivot this game to live service if they wanted to. I do. Tribes of Midgard's doing a festive event, guys. If you like that game or want a reason to get back into it, they just emailed me about that. They're doing some Yuletide holiday event. I was looking for a holiday game to play with Hilly on Friday night. We're going to have to settle for GTFO. It should be pretty funny. If you guys are members, Friday nights I typically stream with my wife. She's got a party this Friday, so the return of Hilly Hijinks. I was going to call it Holiday Hilly Hijinks, but I just couldn't find any good holiday games to play. There was that escape room game, but there was only that one Santa's Workshop level. They released a steampunk DLC and a Wild West DLC, but that didn't feel very festive. GTFO is kind of hard. I think we could make it funny, but I am concerned we're gonna hit a wall and it's not gonna be funny. But we're gonna do our best to make it funny. Lono always wants games to pivot to live service, and no one likes that. Yeah, nobody likes that. That's right. That's right. I want to see games pivot to live service. Give it to me. Give it to me. I argued for that yesterday for Transformers. Give me Hogwarts Legacy live service. Do it. Keep it coming, baby. Keep it coming. Seasons, live events, add Quidditch at some point. You could do a Halloween event. You could do a Christmas event. I can promise you won't be laughing in GTFO. Sorry to interrupt this show, but I need this login, please. Link your Spotify account. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Boy. Harry Potter Day event. Harry Potter Day event. You said I got gifted? Yeah, you got a gifted membership, Thomas. And look, at Maintain Your Streak, you have a blue badge now. Welcome back. Anybody that gets a gifted member, if you're like, hey, I didn't need a gifted member, well, you can pay it forward. You can gift another batch. We've got 7 out of the 25 goal that we set every day. We've been hitting that goal. We are on I think like a 9-day streak of hitting that goal every day. I try to get a backup game after GTFO because I could see it going south really fast. Yeah, there's also a rogue game that looked really, really fun called the Crack Pet Show. Maybe we should just do the Crack Pet Show. I don't know. We could get refunds on GTFO as long as you've not played it for more than 2 hours, Hilly. What is gifted? How does it work? Somebody basically paid for you to have a month of membership. So for the next 30 days, you get access to all my members-only content. Somebody paid for a batch of members, and you got one of them. That all sounds so bad. I really like playing games that have an end. Live service games have no end. Yes, but that's your preference as a gamer. That doesn't mean it would be bad. Like, it sounds bad to you, sure. But that doesn't mean it would be a bad game. You've not played, so we could refund? I wonder. There were a couple of co-op games that I saw on my Steam wish list that I had been kind of saving to play with Madam. I wonder if we should pivot away. I think that Crack Pet game is going to be there was another Game Pass game too that I saw. What's most convenient for you to play on PC? I forget with Discord, Hilly. What's the most convenient way for you to play? Is it Discord or Xbox? Because is it PC or Xbox? If it's PC, there were a handful of co-op games that might work for us. There were a handful that might be fun to play. Steam's best for you? Okay. I think people are GTFO might not be the move. Yeah, GTFO might be a really, really bad idea. It looks so fun though. We'll do some more research. We'll do some more research, Hilly, because that Crack Pet game could be hilarious. It's a twin stick rogue. That one we might get burned on that one pretty quickly too, as well. Because it might just be like, what the frick, because especially if we die a handful of times. So there's also Bravery and Greed. There's some games that came out that might be a better fit. You can play the last hero of Nostalgaia cooperative. The last hero of Nostalgaia. It's supposed to be nostalgia, but it's just a total Souls-like joke game. Gotta go buy. All right, Thomas. Just try GTFO. We're looking to throw back drinks and laugh. You know what I'm saying? If you guys are waiting for the Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay Showcase, we will be showcasing that. We'll be switching to that. What? Okay. You need that? Demony Christmas. Okay. Let me know once you have it. Okay. Gone. Okay. There we go. Drinks and laughs, DMZ it is. Cyberpunk was made for next gen first, and then they worked backwards. They should have delayed old gen, but didn't. Could Potter have done the same thing? Here's the thing, though, Russell. We've been debating that a little bit. I think the timeline doesn't make sense for that. Yeah, it's at 1. We'll go over there around 12:30. We'll go to a second stream around 12:30. I'm playing GTFO with a buddy tonight, so we'll know if it has some room for us. Okay, Hilly. Like, they started development of this game in like 2015, 2016. I just think that's way too early to be like, oh, they were developing for next gen first. Live service games are always super dependent on the funnel of content and how frequently that content comes. So far, very few games offer the content to keep a community engaged. But there are plenty of games that are crushing it. Diablo 3, ESO, Destiny. Well, Destiny might not be qualified as crushing it right now. They've slipped a little bit. You know, the crown is slipping. But I don't know. I think there's live service games that are pulling it off. Is old gen Hogwarts releasing later because they want to polish, or are they concerned that the current gen games won't get good reviews? That's what I think it's about, Sven. Yes. I think the Hogwarts Legacy release date got staggered because they don't want those bad reviews. That's what I think. I think it would have been a Cyberpunk scenario. All the headlines would have focused on performance issues. Like, look at what's been happening recently. A new login on Spotify. Yeah, that's fine. We noticed you logged in from a different device. Yeah, just don't change what music's playing. Son of a mother. Should I ask Madam? No, I just can't remember the routing. I know, that's the account. I think the challenge with live service, though, and this is something that, Eugene said quite a bit, you have to nail the content loop first. You have to have a really, really good game first. Well, that's why when I look at Hogwarts, that's the first thing I think about. I'm like, they could really nail this. And then and if they nail it, then add on to it, do more. Let me edit that so that you know which is which. Yeah, that's the routing. Here we go. If they nail it, I could see people being like, yo, keep this thing going. Keep this thing going. Give us more. Give us more stuff. Give us more content. Give us more things to do.
Lono said 646310284.
That was so loud. I clicked on a hyperlink in Discord and it said speak message. Why did it start speaking a hyperlink? The frick is going on? That was not the info. It was a hyperlink. Like, I clicked on the hyperlink and I tried to delete it and it said speak message and I was like, what the frick? It was so loud. Now we all know your debit pin. That was not my debit pin. That was not my debit pin. If I go missing, guys, you know why. That's right. My ears? Yeah, sorry about that. I typically have Discord muted. I don't know why Discord wasn't muted. I would love to hear your analysis on the game dev conference that Bungie presented on live service. I mean, I don't cover them at all anymore. Unless, of course, they finally get exposed for their lies. But I don't have any interest in covering that. I'm now deaf, thanks. Yeah, nah, sorry. Cyberpunk came out sooner than Potter. Likely longer development. And that was the issue? No. Russell. Cyberpunk was not built for next gen first that caused all the problems. They started expanding that game's scope and adding things and upping things. That was scope creep. I don't think there's any proof that Cyberpunk was developed for next gen first. I don't think so. I didn't see any evidence of that. I didn't see any evidence that you're going to be able to say, oh yeah, they were building that for next gen, and then it couldn't run on old gen. I don't think that's true. I don't think the timeline for Cyberpunk's development checks out with that. I will check, but I thought I read they had to work it backwards. I must be deaf right now because I can't hear him. Never mind. YouTube decided to crap the bed. Yeah, I can tell from viewership that something's going on. We're losing like chunks of people. I don't think it's because I accidentally had a hyperlink number read. 2077 didn't even have a next-gen version. Yeah, that's a good point, Paul. There wasn't even a next-gen version of Cyberpunk when it launched, Russell. They just recently pushed out a next-gen upgrade. So that the base game of Cyberpunk didn't have its problems because it was built for next gen. That's not true. It was 100% because of scope creep. They were adding this, adding that effect, the other effect, size, lighting, whatever the frick AI systems, and it caused all kinds of issues. Quick, people, hit the like button. Let's get the views back up. Yeah, gifted's likes and subscribing and chat activity all helps us rebound. I don't know what happened. We were absolutely cruising, and then I don't know what happened. Somebody said something that blipped in chat, and then after that happened, I noticed that we lost a lot of people. We might have lost a lot of the lurkers. They just haven't come back and hit refresh yet. I do think the developed Cyberpunk focused on PC first, then consoles. I mean, that could be true. Russell, maybe you read something about that. You want me to put out false info? No, but maybe that's the tree that you were barking up here. Like, maybe they did. Maybe they really focused on PC, and as they were like pushing how much the game could do on PC, it just continued to make it an unwieldy, effort on console. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not beyond the scope of possibility that they looked at their Red Engine and were really excited about all these things that they could do, but all the things that they were doing were on PC. Sadly, the next-gen update for Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a frame rate between 40 and 60, feels stuttery. Currently using my 4-year-old RTX 2060. I mean, I'm not trying to be that guy, bro, but that's not exactly the graphics card I would be testing that update on. Seriously. I don't even think I would boot up that next-gen update on my 2080 Ti and act like that's a good test. I don't know. I would anticipate it struggling to run a consistent 60 if I have everything turned on. Now, you run it on like a PS5 or a Series X, it's probably going to be a little bit better optimized. I don't know. PC gets funky if you have any weak parts, any bottlenecks. Now, you might say, but this is stronger than a PS5 or whatever. Right, but the versions that they pushed out for the next-gen consoles are likely optimized for those consoles. If that makes sense. Can't imagine designing PC around PC first for a console release game would be the best design decision. Yeah, but if it's multi-platform, they got to start somewhere. No, I had to use this one for Stripe. I had to use that one, Creature. Because all the other emails were taken. It kept telling me they were taken. And I wanted to switch it before too much time passed on the old email we were using. Yo, it's good, Ryan. As a PS4 player, I feel so left out. Same thing with Gotham Knights. It's a 2-month delay, but I feel bummed out. Yeah, I mean, it's not a great time to be a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One player. Gotham Knights just quietly left you behind, and then it launched and it was crap anyway. They didn't seemingly give you any hang on. Yeah, there we go. They didn't even give us like a really good next gen version of the dadgum game. You know? It's like they left you behind and then it wasn't even that good. And now the Hogwarts Legacy release date is staggered. And if you're PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, you got to wait 2 months. Like, I feel bad for the people that are in that scenario. I do. I got a question for you guys. The Hogwarts Legacy Nintendo Switch release date is July 25th. And so my question is this. Is the Nintendo Switch in a weird spot going forward with third party? Because third-party games, third-party multi-plat games are going to continue to get bigger and better and more grandiose. Does this put the Nintendo Switch into a funky place with third-party? Now, that's not a huge deal because Nintendo crushes their first-party games and they get tons of sales from them. But is there concern about that? That you're getting potentially into a weird spot for the Nintendo Switch. I heard mixing in the 4090s and 700 XTX cards have been the best insulation for houses. Well, with the ABK deal and Microsoft giving that 10-year promise, yeah. Switch is in a Wii place. They had issues there. Personally, I haven't missed out on anything but Demon's Souls, and that's rumored to be ported to PS4. I don't think they're going to port that to PS4. That seems like a weird... Why would you even waste time doing that? No one expects big third-party AAA on Switch. If they get it, that's a welcome surprise. Nintendo Switch has always been in a weird spot for third party, says MGene. Games are usually late to the party and downgraded significantly. Yeah. I think the Switch is in a weird place, says Silver Subaru. That's what I'm saying. Like, one of the biggest games is finally coming, and you're what? You're gonna get like some cloud streaming version of it. It's just awkward. It's just super awkward. And I wonder, what are some examples of cloud-based games on the Switch? Because I feel like Hogwarts Legacy, man, are people going to put up with that? You know? Are they going to put up with that? Are they going to say, oh, no, this is totally fine? Or is it going to feel like they got taken for a ride? Loads of cloud games on Switch? How well do they run? Without reading out loud. I didn't even know that was an option. I have Discord muted now. Here's a bit.ly hyperlink. Please don't read it out loud. Yep. It's literally right above delete message, too. That's what's so funny. Okay, here's a bunch of cloud games on Switch. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Hitman 3. Okay? Guardians of the Galaxy. How do those run? Yo, what's good, Light Leap? Making a killing on their first-party games. Oh, for sure. I'm not. Well, yeah, their first-party games. They got zero concern. Their first-party games freaking crush it. They're not worried about that at all. You know, who cares? Nintendo first-party titles are fine, but Hogwarts Legacy Nintendo Switch release date just makes me think like, what the frick? Are these cloud games even worth it? You know what I mean? There's no Demon's Souls PS4 rumor? Huh? Yeah, I've not seen any rumors about them porting Demon's Souls to PS4. Nintendo fans will definitely accept the cloud streaming versions. They will justify it with, you can play it mobile. Oh, there's like a back pop right in there. I can't get it. Guys, we've been streaming for about 2 hours. We will be covering the Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay Showcase 2. It'll be a separate stream. I'll take you with me. We'll be going there probably in like 45 minutes, so we're keeping the conversation going right now about the Hogwarts Legacy release date news. Thank you to the people who gifted some members. We're at 7 out of 25. If we hit 25 members, I have to gift 5 to pay it forward and say thank you. We've been consistently hitting that goal, so thank you everybody who is helping us do that. We've also had a bunch of coffee orders today, so thank you everybody who has ordered coffee. Yeah, we completely dropped the COD rate. I'm not paying any attention to it. We had a Call of Duty video crush talking about why people are not playing anymore, and everybody just continued to talk about just how buggy and bad the game is and skill-based matchmaking this, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. We'll see. We'll see. If it goes well and they can get everything, if they can get that content into a good lane, we can look at future raids that they're episodically releasing. But yeah, I played the entire God of War Ragnarok game. It's all in a God of War Ragnarok news playlist here on this channel. We'll probably put it into its own playlist. I think it took me 12 play sessions to beat it, I think. Rip COD content. Hey, look, man, when we try to cover COD, it went great, and then all of a sudden, it was like no one gave a crap. I don't know. If a COD video crushed, it seemed like it would have been worth it. A COD video crushed about why people aren't playing anymore. So, I don't know. The last couple times we covered it and tried to play it, I had to delete a VOD. So, talk to the sub base about why they respond to content and then just suddenly stop, because I don't know why. It's like, DMZ's awesome. Let's grind some DMZ. I had to delete the VOD. It was so bad. How can you play it on mobile if you need an internet connection to stream games? Yeah, that's the thing. If you're going to play the cloud version of Hogwarts Legacy on Steam, you need an internet connection. You can't, take it on the go. You're not, playing it on the bus. You're going to finish all the side quests for God of War Ragnarok? No. I don't know when I would do that. Can't stream it and don't have time to play anything for leisure. So, I believe people are currently looking for meta build guides on COD, not necessarily breakdowns of gameplay. Yeah, that's what the COD audience wants, and that's not the kind of content creator that I am. Oh, nice, creature. We're eligible for that? That'll be nice. Come on, baby. We're putting up some numbers over here. Work with me. Okay. That's fine. I can't believe people are currently... Oh, okay. Sorry. You're going to play Neo 2, Elden Ring DLC? I mean, if there's actual Elden Ring DLC, I will play it. I'm not going to play Elden Ring PvP. And Neo 2 would be probably an afternoon, and that's about it. Is Neo 2 even out yet? I don't even know. In any case... We're talking Hogwarts Legacy. That's what we're talking. We're having to go a little bit longer today. Usually around now, I'd be getting ready to just bail and go to members, but we're gonna have to ride this to the gameplay stream, right? To the gameplay stream. Still can't believe Elden Ring won Game of the Year. It didn't surprise me at all. When does the Hogwarts news come? Well, the Hogwarts Legacy release date news came yesterday. If you pre-ordered Hogwarts Legacy on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, your new release date is April the 4th. Those that are going to be playing the game on PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S will still be playing it on February the 10th, right? But everybody else is April the 4th. If you are going to be playing Hogwarts Legacy Nintendo Switch version, you will be playing July 25th. So it's a staggered release date. Now today, there is on the official channel, it's titled Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay Showcase 2. It's their second big showcase. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting to say this, Hendrix. live podcast. I keep forgetting to say this, Hendrix. The PC is still launching on February the 10th, alongside PS5 and Xbox Series X. Sorry, I keep forgetting to say that. They delayed the old-gen consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, and then they finally gave us a release date for the Nintendo Switch, which is July 25th. So it's a staggered release date. Sorry about that. If you guys are just tuning in, you have questions, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can talk in my chat. Subscribing is free and costs nothing. Same as smashing like, and we will be doing a second stream with that gameplay. We'll be checking it out. Oh, when's new gameplay clip release? At 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll head over a little bit early. Yo, Hendrix Live with an 8-month milestone, jumping back in as a member. Thank you very much. That we have an allow gifts commands now too to streamline you guys allowing gifts, making it a little bit easier to accept gifted members when people do it. Switch will allow you to play mobile, and that's why the Nintendo crowd will accept it. They don't care that the game is going to run like garbage water or that it will look bad. Mobile is saving Switch. But none of that makes sense and feels like a ton of projection and falsehood. That doesn't seem true at all. I don't know if mobile is saving Switch. Like, because they're not playing mobile. Like, they can get it on the train. They can take it with them. Yes. You can't play Hogwarts mobile. You can't. It's a cloud version. You need a Wi-Fi connection. That's not like true mobile gaming. You're in your house. You're at work on Work's Wi-Fi or something. Like, you're mobile, but you're not. And I don't think that's what's saving Switch. I think Switch is crushing it with their price point and their first-party games. I think the mobile's an aspect of it, especially with the Switch Lite. I think mobile is an aspect of it. You can take it on the go, right? But I also think their price point and their first-party titles is one of the main reasons they're crushing it. You got titles like Mario and Kirby and the Metroid game when it came out. Breath of the Wild's not really a factor anymore, but it was when it launched. Maybe with a Wi-Fi dongle it'd be possible. Mobile as in playing on the go. Yeah, the idea that, like, that crowd accepts games running like garbage, they just care about playing mobile, that's what's saving the platform, that's just so reductionist and not true. I do not think that's why the Nintendo Switch is so popular. The games run like garbage, but I can take it with me. No. It's crushing it because its price point is super competitive, and then you can play Mario, you can play Kirby, and all those games run amazing. Their first-party games run great. I mean, obviously, Breath of the Wild doesn't have great frame rate, but it still runs well. It doesn't run bad. In fact, it runs better on the mobile version because it lowers the resolution and you get more consistent frame rate. Like, the cloud versions of the game surely don't run as well, but I don't think we would say that they run like dog water and, you know, those people just accept that because all they care about is playing mobile. I don't buy that for a minute. I think that there's a lot more appeal to the Switch than that. And that, I'm telling you, I think one of it's just that stinking price point, man. That price point makes it a very, very competitive offer in a market with really expensive consoles and PCs. Nintendo's IP is far and away the reason for their success. That's what I mean. Like, you're talking about Mario, Kirby, Pokemon. Like, they got massive, massive IPs that are one of the single reasons that thing sells like crazy. I don't think that people are legit playing Switch as a home console. Remember, Switch is huge in Japan, and the majority of the market is playing games on the go. Sure, and that's one of the reasons it's been so successful, because that market has pivoted away from gaming at home or gaming on a big screen. You're correct in that. But being like, that's what's saving it, it makes it sound like they don't have incredible first-party titles. Between public Wi-Fi and hotspots, you can truly be playing mobile. You don't have to be at home. DC is exploring the possibility of bringing Matt Reeves' Batman into their wider universe. Do it. Dude, I don't know why you wouldn't. They could make 7 movies with that cast and that feel and that art style and that approach, and they could put DC, in a much better place, and just let Gal and Henry do what they're doing, which is just, look gorgeous and make great movies. Get Patty Jenkins away from anything, and they'll be fine. And then just retcon Batfleck and let Pattinson take over. It's not hard to do. It isn't. Not hard to do. Just do a little bit of retconning. And you have a massive, massive potential to get back into a better position. And you can be a much darker and much cooler universe, and you can make, you can be a competitor with Marvel. Context, I'm in rural Midwest. There is no public Wi-Fi here. Right, and when you go to Asian markets, I mean, they're not struggling with that, right? Batfleck's older. That's what I'm saying. Retcon him. Get him the frick out of here. Just get him out of here. Seriously. Just get him out of here. Don't need a retcon? Yeah, you do. How would you have well, we're getting off subject. How would you have Pattinson interacting with Gal and Henry? That's what I'm saying. You got to be able to build that bridge, and you got to get rid of him to do that. Okay, we can't do this. We can't do this. We can't do that. We can't turn this into that. Same actors, new universe. Yeah, that's fine. Do that. Yeah. Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, Metroid, Kirby, Fire Emblem, Bayonetta, the list goes on. But they need to launch a new system. Oh, I think so too. I think that, Hogwarts Legacy is going to be one of the first games to really put that on display, I think. Because I think tons of people are going to want to play this game. And I think a lot of those people probably haven't played a cloud version on their Switch. And when they do, they're going to be like, At the very least, I would love a new Nintendo Switch for the next Breath of the Wild so that I can get 60 FPS. When it comes to Hogwarts Legacy, I think you're going to see people start to change their mind. They're like, I don't know about this, dude. I don't know. What are your thoughts on delaying last gen? It's a humongous bummer, and I think they need to be anybody who pre-ordered last gen needs to be compensated in some way. Not because of the delay, but because they no longer get the early access. A lot of people paid early because they get 72 hours of early access. They don't get that any longer. They don't just get a delayed game. They get a delayed game and they lose that pre-order incentive. The updated Hogwarts Legacy release date is not just a delay. My point is the Switch would be in a world of trouble in a home console-only market with 2006 hardware. The fact that you can take their games on the go is a huge reason. The huge reason the Switch is successful. See, but now you phrase it in a way that sounds like an intelligent take and not a Hallmark greeting card. Like, mobile is saving the Switch. What? Like, their first-party lineup is just absolutely banging. And one of the reasons it's very successful. There's multiple layers of reasons the Switch is successful. Because I got news for you. If that thing could go mobile and their first-party offerings weren't there, if you didn't have Pokemon, Zelda, Mario, Metroid, Kirby, Fire Emblem, and Bayonetta, if you didn't have those titles, that thing would be struggling. Because it'd be like, well, yeah, I can take it on the go with me, but where are all the titles? Those first-party titles are massive. Steam Deck. Well, yeah, Steam Deck's starting to get some footing, for sure. You can play Hogwarts Legacy on April Fools before the PS4, Xbox One releases. I don't think so, unless you're making a joke. The official announcement was that you would no longer get Hogwarts Legacy Early Access. You would no longer get that. Are they not offering refunds? Oh, you don't have to ask for a refund. You can cancel your pre-order. You can cancel your pre-order. That's not the point. People still want the game. Or some people pre-ordered. We have a community member, Talika. She pre-ordered the collector's edition, and she only got old gen because those were the only ones left. She just wanted the wand in the book and thought, well, it's going to show up, and then I'll just upgrade for the 10 spot, and I'll have all my stuff. Well, how do you do that now? If your game's not coming out for, 2 months. So with the Hogwarts Legacy delay, who will still be able to play 72 hours early? The PS5, the Series X, and the Series S. It is saving the Switch because it could have all those titles and an in-home console-only environment. That hardware would be absolutely unacceptable. It's hard to know because those consoles pull. I'm sorry, those games pull, so it's hard to know, Corey. It's hard to know. Those titles pull. If that's the only place you're playing, Kirby, Zelda, Metroid, Mario, Bayonetta, Pokemon, like, come on, man. Those titles pull. I don't know. Has anyone done a release like this before? I actually don't think so, Zubair. I don't know. This is probably not super common. We may be able to find 1 or 2 examples of this happening, but I don't think this is super common, no. Nintendo did mobile gaming before mobile phones, just remember? Yeah, with the Game Boy, that's right. You think Hogwarts Legacy have a chance to win Game of the Year next year? It'll certainly be nominated, but from everything I've seen, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think Jedi Survivor probably has a better chance from what we've seen so far. There's some pretty big titles that are going to be in contention next year. It's going to be a tough year. But no, from what I've seen, I think Hogwarts is going to be great, but I don't think it's going to win Game of the Year. Doesn't even get a nom. I think it might get a nom. It depends on how things launch and how things go next year. A lot of big titles. A lot of potential. I think it'll get noms for certain things. I think Hogwarts will be nominated for art direction because of how magical how intricate and magical Hogwarts is, the different rooms, the different art styles. I think it'll get nominated for art direction. But I don't think it would win Game of the Year. I could easily see it being nominated, though. If reviewers decide it won't, they don't like JK, even if she's not associated with it, keep that in mind. Dollars to donuts, all those reviewers do not stand on ceremony, and they'll probably praise the frick out of the game. Now, I guarantee you there'll be a handful that clickbait the negativity. Seeing this game succeed is a loss and failure for gamers. Like, there'll be plenty of virtue signaling, like impression grabs, but I guarantee you a lot of the outlets, they'll just review it like any other game. The outlets that have zero integrity and draw, and no one really cares what they think, well, I mean, they might try to virtue grab. Most of these outlets have zero integrity with respect to, like, exhaustive reporting and doing proper investigations and looking into scenarios. IGN, just bankrupt. No integrity at all. Writing puff pieces for Bungie, not representing both sides when serious things happen. None of these places, like the Joker says in The Dark Knight, right? Their moral code is a bad joke that they drop when it's convenient, or stand on when it's going to give them an impression farm. So, I don't know. There'll be a handful that just review it like normal and be like, yeah, it's a video game. But then there'll be some surely that'll be like, yeah, it's time for us to get all virtue signal grabby. I'm sure they vet and review every company, every publisher, every developer to make sure, they're squeaky clean and perfect, as they probably accept money under the table to write puff pieces for them. High on Life calls out IGN, Polygon, and Kotaku. Yeah, that's probably why High on Life doesn't have a ton of reviews right now. They call out, three of the worst offenders. Is it art direction if you're copying source material? Yes, because you still have to make it look good and execute on it. I didn't see anything in the movies that looks like what we're seeing in the house, in the common rooms, and the way the doors open. I don't think there's any of that in the movies. the movies, like when they're in Hogwarts, a lot of those scenes, like you get a cool sense of scope and like how big the place is and how awesome the place is, but there's no walking up to a big barrel in the underbelly of the school and then it like opens up, or the way the snake door opens for Slytherin. I think from what I've seen, the art direction for Hogwarts is stellar. I would say it's above the movies. It's not just copying the movies. To take what they've done and what we've seen in the gameplay so far, and to say, oh, they're just copying the source material, they're just copying the movies, I think is just an absolute misrepresentation of what they've done in this game. You're actually physically at work today? Nice. Just scan releases for next year. Hogwarts doesn't get a nom for Game of the Year. I think it does. Well, it depends, because again, this is going to come down to releases. Like, a lot of games are going to release next year, and they could release and be terrible. You know, Starfield could be monumental. It could be ho-hum or bad. We just don't know. There's so many titles that we just... It's hard to count on them. Right? It's hard to count on them. There's a handful that we can probably count on delivering. Like, Jedi Survivor would be one of them, because we know that, like, they're using so much of what was already there. Like, the formula's kind of been, proven itself. Hogwarts is a bit of a taller order because they don't have an existing game to build on the way that Jedi Survivor does. Outside of the fandom, I really don't think Hogwarts looks good. If it was just a straight up wizarding game, I think people would say doesn't look next gen enough, but I still think people would say it looks good. Breath of the Wild 2 is probably going to get a nom. We haven't even played it yet. It could go full Cyberpunk or go full Stray. We don't know. Yeah, for sure. Jake says, "What's your take on what the top 5 then is?" Yeah, I'd be curious what you think. What you think's coming out next year that's just so much stronger. I know there's a lot of games coming out. Maybe I'm forgetting about a lot of them, but yeah, I mean, Spider-Man 2 is supposed to be out, fall. Top 6. I think you said Hogwarts would be top 6, but wouldn't that be a nom? Game of the Year nominations are between 5 and 6 nominations. Yeah, Final Fantasy 16 and Diablo 4 are probably shoo-ins for noms. So is Zelda. So that's 3. If Spider-Man 2 makes the cut, that's 4. I think there's room for Hogwarts up there. Hades 2 Game of the Year. Yeah, it's starting to get thick. I forgot about Hades 2. Hades 2 will definitely, I can see it getting the nom. Hogwarts is releasing in Feb. By the time the Game Awards are here, people are going to forget about it. Yeah, Elden Ring just walked into the chat. Starfield gets a nom because Bethesda. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to release in the spring, if memory serves. RE4 Remake. Yeah, Skull and Bones! I forgot about Skull and Bones. Isn't Wukong 2023? I'm not sure. Eugene says Diablo, Spider-Man, Zelda, Starfield, Final Fantasy 16, Liza P, and then everything we saw at the Game Awards. Hogwarts literally will be forgotten. I'm going to remember that you guys all said this. I am. Because I think some of y'all are making predictions about a pretty big title being forgotten. The first true Harry Potter like RPG, and you think it's going to be forgotten. Y'all are making some bold statements about what's potentially one of the biggest commercial games next year. Commercially speaking, when it comes to Game of the Year. Yeah. Forgotten. When it comes to Game of the Year, I don't like the term forgotten. Outshined, I think, makes more sense to say. You guys are saying forgotten like everybody's going to be like, Hogwarts what? Like, I think it's going to get nominations for awards. I could see it being outshined and outmatched for Game of the Year by the time we get to the Game Awards. I'll agree with that. There certainly is the possibility that this thing delivers a good game that just gets outshined and outmatched when it comes to Game of the Year. But forgotten? I'm like, what the huh? I can't see this game getting forgotten. Let's rephrase it. When it comes to Game of the Year nominations, it won't be in the conversation for long. You guys have a lot of confidence in a lot of titles next year. Nobody making a false step. Nobody faltering or failing to deliver. Every big title next year has to deliver. Unless there's crazy delays, Hogwarts isn't in the convo. I don't know. There's a lot of games coming out next year that could falter or stumble. You're assuming Hogwarts delivers. Well, no, I'm not assuming Hogwarts delivers. I'm saying to act like in the Game of the Year discussion, it won't even be considered when we get to the end of the year. You're assuming way more than I am. You're assuming that all those big titles are going to just hit it out of the park next year. Like, I'm assuming that Hogwarts will be a big commercial hit and that people will really like it, and it'll be talked about quite a bit and get high praise. Now, obviously, I've expressed my own concerns today that the staggered release is going to sully it a little bit. Like, we're going to get to the summer and people are going to be like, this game just was an unpolished piece of crap and it runs great on next gen, but this game really shouldn't have been on these old gen consoles. Like that could hurt it, right? But for it to not get a nomination means every big title that comes out next year has to absolutely deliver. Now, we know there are some titles that will almost automatically do that. Like, I think Final Fantasy 16 will just automatically be a 9 out of 10 game. I just think they have a habit of delivering greatness. I think Diablo 4 will be a 9 out of 10 game. I do think there are a couple that are just almost guaranteed to be excellent. But there's also a lot that are giant question marks. Starfield being one of them. That thing could be a disaster. We don't know. Yeah, Spider-Man 2, again, we're confident that that's coming out next year, and we're confident they've got a good foundation. Because Spider-Man 1, they're leaving behind old gen, for sure. Zelda's the strongest contender. Yeah, Zelda. I think Zelda will be almost assuredly very, very good. There's no way Lies of P makes Game of the Year list. Yeah, I don't know. Lies of P did very well in some of its recent testing with both FromSoft fans and non-FromSoft fans. Lies of P could be like a sleeper. Could be a sleeper hit. Jedi Survivor, Starfield, Hades 2, Zelda, Diablo 4, Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy. These could all easily leave Hogwarts in the dust. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all, Abe. I don't. But Starfield could fumble the ball. It could. The rest of those are probably pretty much guaranteed hits. So, yeah, it's going to get pretty thick next year. I still think Hogwarts will be a very big and talked about game. I also think Hogwarts Legacy will get nominations for some things. 100%. One Piece. Oh, yeah. One Piece Odyssey will probably be pretty popular. Yeah. When does the Wolverine game come out? Probably the end of 2024. Don't forget Armored Core. Oh, shoot. Yeah, if Armored Core actually gets to come out. Yeah. I think Hogwarts will get nominated for art direction. And it'll probably be up there for, like, action game, maybe. Maybe. If they consider it like an action game, adventure game, it'll be in one of those categories. Cyberpunk 2077 version 1.6 Edge Runners is a next-gen update for PC as well. Thanks. Huh? Forspoken demo is actually nothing like the final game, says producer. Then why in the frick would you let people play it? Yo, it's good, Recadec. Isn't Armored Core 6 next year as well? It is. It is. I got to schedule the next stream. I completely forgot. We're on such a different timeline today. For 12:30. We are going to be covering the Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay Showcase. We'll be going over there in a little bit. If you guys have been enjoying this stream and you like the fact that I'm not running ads and disrupting your broadcast, you can show some appreciation and support by smashing the like button. Maybe gift some members. Help us get our daily member goal. Thank you, Akuta Papa, for the $2 tip. I will check that out in a moment, what you're saying there. I'm just scheduling the next stream so that people can get the 30-minute head start notification about it. Every 25 members, I give 5 back to the community. I gift 5 members. The more often you're here, the more likely you'll get one. Appreciate you guys so much supporting the stream. We've been going for about 2.5 hours, and we appreciate all the button smashing, the likes. All the new subscribers, welcome on in as well. Hogwarts will nom for art and story, maybe sound. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. After such a dry year, I need it, says Captain Toasty Buns. Haven't considered the indies. Yeah, I mean, Hades 2, you don't count Hades 2 out. I mean, it's a quote-unquote indie, but that thing's probably going to be a pretty stout, contender in lots of categories. Again, all these games in an ideal world, some of these games might fail at launch, but I'm calling it now, no Game of the Year nom for Hogwarts. Stalker 2. I don't have confidence Stalker 2's coming next year. I don't know. 2023 is going to be huge, no doubt, says Corey, but I'm not going to write off Hogwarts and the fandom for that franchise. It's just too big of an IP to count out. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, man, this is a big title. This thing's massive. Harry Potter fans and all the rest. Like, Hogwarts ain't playing. Yeah. The Stalker 2 situation, I don't know if you're going to see that game come out. I don't know about it. I'm excited for Hades 2, top of my list. Oh, also thank you to all the coffee orders today. Get those in. We ship those virtually every day. We got 8 orders yesterday. Those are going out today. And we've had, I think, 3 orders. Yeah, 3 orders today. Thank you to the 3 people that ordered. Bunch of new subscribers. If you're one of the new subscribers, welcome on in. We hope you've enjoyed the conversation and the talk. I do keep things safe for work, so you can keep me on in the background of your day, Monday through Friday, doing talk shows like this. Armored Core 6 is Game of the Year. Hogwarts going to crash and burn. Game's going to run bad, plus combat looks bad. I don't know, Hilly. I feel like they've been showing an awful lot of gameplay. They seem to be pretty confident. They seem to be pretty confident in their game and their gameplay. They do. Not giving Hogwarts a chance. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about seeing Stalker 2 next year. I think we're too far away from what Elden Ring was, and many people will reject it because of it. Could easily be wrong, though. Unsure. Can see Redfall winning best multiplayer? No. If Redfall wins best multiplayer, I will be so surprised, because the way their co-op is going to work is so outdated, archaic, and stupid. You literally don't get progress in your game. If you... Like, only the host gets progress. Like, what freaking year is it? There's no way it wins multiplayer. Have you seen the details about how it's going to work? No way. I actually think Redfall's going to flop, personally. I think Starfield has a shot to surprise everybody. I think Starfield has a chance. It might surprise everybody. I think Redfall's going to flop. I just get bad feelings about that game. Every time I see gameplay, it feels simulated and fake. Once we got the details on how co-op was going to work, I was like, what the what? It just, I don't know. That game just, that game feels like a disaster waiting to happen. No idea why you think Redfall is going to flop? I just told you. Every time they've shown gameplay, it seems like simulated and fake. It doesn't seem real. And then when they outline the details and the direction, I'm like, this game's going to be bad. And the interest, whenever we research it and consider covering it, like, no one cares. I don't know. Listen, I will gladly be wrong, because I love shooters, I love looters, I love co-op games. It has all of the earmarks or hallmarks of something that I should love. And every time I look at it, I'm like, this just seems like we have zero clue what this game's going to run and play like. Considering the studio, I don't think so. Considering the studio, I do think so. I think Armored Core is exactly what FromSoft needs to shake things up. But I think that game is not what the community is going to think it is. We tried to run a video about it, and it didn't get good response from our subs, but it is starting to turn. Basically telling people this is not a Souls-like game. Not a Souls-like game, baby. It's starting to see a turn. It's dipping up. Our people clicked on it a lot less, it said. We got a really low click-through rate from our subscribers, which was surprising. There's a lot of FromSoft fans here. I was trying to warn folks. I'm like, there's a lot of you that know this. You know that Armored Core is not going to be Soulsborne. But there's a lot of new FromSoftware fans that are going to be like, what? Why is this not a Souls-like? Why is this not a Soulsborne game? Ladies and gentlemen, my wife has given the green light to get a second PS5 for the bedroom. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. That's why they call them business socks. Little scared for Diablo 4. Hope TLU faction's good. Armored Core niche. Action mech games are niche. Oh, Armored Core is not niche. Globally? No. No. Armored Core will be huge. Our Armored Core's commercial success will be nipping at Elden Ring's heels, potentially. Not because of hype, but because, globally speaking, I think there's a huge draw. Once you get out of the West, man. A FromSoft game with mechs, that thing's been around a long time as well. So it has this massive potential to be commercially rivaling Elden Ring. It has the potential. I'm not saying it will. Elden Ring was huge and multi-platform and everybody wanted it and it was highly anticipated, but I don't know, man. Armored Core that's got a long-standing player base and fandom, and mech games are really popular when you're not in the West. The entire world just met FromSoft thanks to Elden Ring. I think it might actually hurt Armored Core. I mean, it could certainly hurt the response, not the commercial success. People might be like, hey, another FromSoft game. Let me get that. You know what I mean? What is Armored Core? First time I heard it. It's like a highly customizable, intense, challenging mech game. It'll be more of like a boss rush than like a Dark Souls or an Elden Ring. It'll be more mission-based, big, huge, epic boss fights, a lot of customization of the mech. The customization of the mech will lend itself to your combat. If you want a really good breakdown, go check out my Armored Core video on this channel. It needs some love anyway. I'm not saying it doesn't have a fan base, but it's still a niche title like Star Ocean. No, Armored Core is not a niche title. No way, man. Mech games? You gotta look at the Asian market so often. when you make these predictions, like mech games in the Asian market, it's not niche at all. That would be like somebody from some other country saying that like driving games are niche. No, they're not. Especially here in the West, driving games are not niche. Neither are sports games. It'd be easy for somebody in the Asian market to think that like Madden is niche or Forza is niche. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, well, car game. No, I don't know. Car games might be really popular in the Asian market. But I would hazard a guess that like Madden's not really popular in Japan. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful sometimes when like you're using your Western mind to be like, oh yeah, it's a niche game. No, it's not. This week in sales, Armored Core 5 is another success story for FromSoftware. So just the announcement of 6 like skyrocketed the Armor Core 5 sales. Armored Core is more niche than Soulsborne? What? Don't think it has a chance for Game of the Year? What is happening? No way! Mech games are so big! I don't know, man. Yo, what's good, Smashville? I know many people that grew up on Armored Core. It's been around a long, long time. And mech games and Gundam and... I don't know. I think Armored Core is way bigger than many people think it is. I'm saying that as somebody who never played it and only recently learned about it. You know what I'm saying? I recently learned about this title, and I never played it. And I'm here to tell you, man, mech games haven't been big for a long time. I'm pretty sure mech games are very popular still to this day, especially in the Asian market. Some of y'all way too much copium if you think mech games are niche. Titanfall, hello? Yeah, well, Titanfall. Freaking poor Titanfall 2. Such a disrespected title. What are popular mech games right now? I don't know. You'd have to look at markets that have games that we don't even buy. There are literal games right now that we don't even buy or get in our market. We don't get them. Yeah, I mean, I think Gundam Evolution is pretty popular, is it not? Gundam set an impressive new franchise sales record. This is May of this year. Gundam set an impressive new franchise sales record in 2021. Bandai Namco announces that Mobile Suit Gundam surpassed 100 billion yen in annual sales for the first time in the franchise's 40-year history. That was last year. Now, of course, they're tapping into mobile, but still. Making big money. Making big money. Gundam Evolution is on PS4 and PS5. I have friends playing it right now. 100 billion yen is $15. Illy, that is so wrong. Stop it. Stop that. Guys, we're going to shift gears here in about 10 or 15 minutes. Let me quickly use the restroom, though. We are going to be checking out the Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay Showcase. Don't go anywhere. Do all the things. Smash the like button. Use those commands. Remind people about coffee, memberships, glasses, shirt, all those things. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry, chat. It was lunchtime, and we're watching kids, so I was trying to help out a little bit. I was longer than I'm usually gone. Brought my lunch down, though. Excuse me. Excuse me. Have like a tickle in my throat. Earth Defense Force doesn't look like mechs. I love Souls games, but I looked up what Armored Core was. It took about 20 seconds before I said no. You just got here. What'd you miss? Let me give you a recap if you just got here. The Hogwarts Legacy release date news does pertain to today because we will be switching gears here in a moment and going over and watching the Hogwarts Legacy gameplay showcase. So stick around for that. But they announced yesterday that Hogwarts Legacy release date would no longer be on February the 10th for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. And then the Nintendo Switch is on July 25th. So the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 is actually April the 4th. PC, PlayStation 5, the Series X and S are all still launching on February the 10th. So, that's what happened. That was the big announcement, and we thought it was worth covering this morning before we dove into the gameplay. I didn't want the gameplay stream to get sort of like sidetracked into that. And then after our gameplay stream, we will go to a member stream where we'll just kind of hang out. Usually, I eat my lunch during the member stream. So I should probably try and actually eat now before we go to the next stream. So that way the VOD is a little bit cleaner. Yo, thank you, Duncan. You've been here. You like to listen while you play games. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting. The more often you guys listen and you're here and press like, the better we do. And I appreciate that. I have one, but at what cost? You guys are still debating Nish in the chat, in the Discord? I'm for sure giving Armored Core a shot. I think I'll check out Armored Core for like an afternoon. Can't dono or gift right now? Struggling? Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Like I said, if I said it, I didn't say anything about money. I said the more often you watch and listen and hang out, the better we perform. We meet new people, and more people find us when you guys are here listening and supporting and smashing all the buttons. Seriously. You know, if you can't do gifted members or tip money or any of that, that's totally fine. Ever since I seen your video on Doc Dart, you may be a fan. I hope I get my channel to your level one day. Oh yeah, you were the one that tweeted at him about the video. I remember you. Yeah. I liked him. He and I are DMing about potentially trying to like do a show or a video together. I really like his energy. If you were to buy a really good gaming laptop because I'm on the go, what would you recommend? I don't have a recommendation. I'm not big in that world. I don't know. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not a tech recommendation guy. I couldn't tell you. I'll give Armored Core a shot one afternoon, says Sven, 1 month later. All right, guys, welcome back to From Fridays as we take on the final boss in Armored Core. You're going to check out Armored Core for an afternoon, but play Sony Pony DLC for 12 streams. Man alive, I want to throw my shoe at you. Shut up. I wanted to respond to another one of Doc's videos. He was saying how he didn't... I didn't watch it. But I think the crux of it was... How did Elden Ring win Game of the Year when it won less categories than God of War? I don't know if he had nuance and said something to the effect of, like, because this is what I would have said to him. Certain categories hold more weight, and as soon as Elden Ring won Best Direction, that's it. It's going to win Game of the Year. That holds more weight than the other categories. Like, that's a bigger category. Like, Best Direction's like 3 categories in one. That's so many things. Best Direction doesn't usually win Game of the Year? Really? In my mind, if you win Best Direction and Art Direction, it got both. That, to me, those are far-reaching awards. That's not like winning Best Narrative or having your voice actor win. Winning Best Art Direction and Best Direction really cements your place. That's what I'm saying. Overall, how do you feel about the Hogwarts will be at launch? Well, here's my concern for Hogwarts Legacy, Duncan. My concern is that it's going to be great on next gen, and then when it finally lands on old gen, it's going to be a disaster. I tried to explain to Doc that each category is separate. You can't just add them up and say you got more so you win. I did some research. Best Direction is a replacement category for Developer of the Year. Oh. That's weird. Did they ever explain why they did that? Yeah, that's such a great point, Vigil. God of War had Best Voice Actor and Accessibility, which don't hold that much weight. Right, like, if you win for accessibility, it's like, that's great. That's noble. That's awesome that you did all those things. That doesn't translate into game quality. Now, obviously, God of War Ragnarok was an amazing game that also did all those things for accessibility, so it's kind of doing both. But the accessibility award is not an indication of game quality. Does that make sense? I think Elden Ring also classed down on it being a cultural phenomenon. People who didn't even play video games knew what Elden Ring was. Yeah, I had a buddy of mine at church. He was like, I think I'm going to get it. I'm like, you better be prepared. That game will freaking knock your teeth out. Nice video, nice self-promotion. Doc was just on my show on Monday. We had a good discussion about Microsoft Activision Sony deal. What are your thoughts? Oh, you get no, sir. I'm getting a little bit off topic. I'm not going that far off topic. I got an upload coming today about it if you want to know my thoughts, actually. About, like, Microsoft saying they can put Call of Duty on PlayStation Plus and Microsoft offering the FTC, like, concessions for 10 years. Oh, yeah, I got an upload coming today about all of that. I have a question. A long time ago in one of your streams, you said Ragnarok and Horizon would be the best-looking games this generation. I've never said that. You're misquoting me. I know what you're quoting, and that's not a correct quote. Now that Callisto's out, how do you feel that way? Well, Callisto ran like garbage. So it's not necessarily that impressive. We made our game really pretty and runs like trash. I never said that. Very careful in how I phrase things. I said that I believe that Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok were extremely close to the ceiling of the graphical fidelity we would see this generation, and that as this generation goes, we're not going to see games come out that blow them out of the water graphically. I said we would see marginal improvements, which I believe you see some of that improvement in Callisto with facial capture and lighting and stuff. But I don't think Callisto Protocol is a great example of something that's like blowing those games out of the water. And I never said they're going to be the best looking games this generation. I did not say that. That's not my thought on it. Is very, very carefully crafted. What's the best Game Pass game right now if you had to pick? Probably High on Life. Yo, I appreciate that, and now your mama knows. Thank you for the $5 tip. And thanks for sharing my stuff. The character models are more than minimal improvements. By far the best character modeling yet. Yeah, but the reason that... It's not minimal, but it's minimal at the same time, Eugene. Because, like, yeah, great, you made the characters look amazing, but... What about the rest of the game? Do you know what I'm saying? Wait until Death Stranding 2 characters? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know the engines are going to get more advanced and get better at that kind of thing, but I have a hard time giving Callisto props, again, on console, because that's what I was talking about. I have a hard time giving Callisto props when they did all that, and it runs so poorly. Like, I don't put that as a big feather in your cap. Congratulations, man. You made your game look awesome. And doesn't run very well. Hang on, we got to go to the next stream. Let me get you guys set up here. All right. I'm going to get my tweets out, and then we're going to switch gears here. All right. But you played on PS5 and that version does perform well? It performed fine, but it still had hitches and hiccups and stuff. It still had stutters and hiccups and stuff. I mean, maybe they've gotten a lot of that stuff ironed out. But when I played on PC, I know it had tons of problems. And then for me, it was like, it was fine. But I still had stutters and stammers and snags. Horizon Forbidden West is an absolute masterpiece in my opinion. Loved every element of its design. I think there was a lot of good stuff in that one. Let's check this out. Okay. All right, I'm going to put a link in chat. If you guys would prefer to click on a link instead of writing redirect, head over to the next stream. Do me a favor, and when you get over there, go crazy. Go crazy on the like button. Sometimes our second streams, like, no one hits it because they forget that it's another stream. I do 2 streams a day, so try to help me out with that when you all get over there. Oh, hang on. Let me pull their video up, and that way I can have it on screen. Hang on. It's that, and then we go like this. Kind of have to hide all the extra nonsense. There we go. There we go. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. We are going to be watching the Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay Showcase number 2 And we did a show this morning talking about the release date. The Hogwarts Legacy release date news is not that great. It's bad news for some people. If you pre-ordered on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, you now are looking at a release date of April 4th. The Hogwarts Legacy Nintendo Switch release date is July 25th. As long as you pre-ordered on the PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and PC, you're good to go on February the 10th, as well as the 3 days of early access, or 72 hours of early access. I'm going to end the previous stream that was about that release date, and it should redirect everybody over. If it doesn't, just go check my main channel, and you should see this as the featured video. We appreciate everybody's support.